From Osceola County Stadium in Kissimmee, Florida, it's Houston Astros spring training baseball. It's another gorgeous afternoon that has the Astros hosting the powerful Toronto Blue Jays. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Steve Sparks with you. 3 consecutive days. Feels nice down here in the sun of Florida. The Astros have played well until we started covering the team the last couple of days. Losses, but it is a gorgeous day, and a happy St. Patrick's Day to you as well. One of the big stories, probably the big story that's been going on, is that first base story. We've talked about other guys in the past couple of days. Tyler White, certainly A.J. Reed, Matt Duffy has been in the conversation. John Singleton had a big day yesterday, and we can talk about John right now. He came up with a double and a home run. How much did that mean for John and for the Astros, for that matter?
Well, first of all, for John personally, I think it meant the world to him. And I think it all started with that double into the gap yesterday. And I think that was kind of the relief point for him when he was able to drive in a couple of runs on a really good swing. And he's been working on a lot of things. And the biggest thing for me, when John Singleton's able to stay back and let the pitch come to him, keep his head back, not moving toward the pitcher, all of those things, I think it slows everything down for him. And I think that's what you saw that last at bat. He was a little bit more comfortable, stayed back real well, and that last home run was something to watch.
So one of the other guys involved in that first base battle, we don't talk about him a lot. He's going to play somewhere. We know that. Marwin Gonzalez is so good last year and maybe better this spring. We'll see him at first today.
Well, A.J. Hinch talks about it all the time. He's his Swiss Army knife. He's a guy who can play so many positions and play them well. He's just not a guy filling in, but he's become a real threat for this team offensively. He can do it from both sides of the plate. His power numbers have showed up here in spring training. He has 4 home runs for the Astros, but he's got his first chance to play first base today. And hey, that perked our ears a little bit in the sense that, hey, does he have a chance to be the opening day first baseman for Houston?
Yeah, where does he fit? Lefty, righty on the mound. And when you're simply trying to win, Marwin Gonzalez is a very useful guy on this ball club. We'll be right back with the first pitch here from Kissimmee right after this.
Osceola County Stadium, the Blue Jays are here. Some split squad action for the Houston Astros. They've played 15 games so far this spring training. Happy St. Patty's Day, everyone. This green guy wants to wish you a happy St. Patty's Day as well. But I've heard the dog days of spring here recently from some of these guys. You know, they've been here for a month, most of them more than a month. That pitchers and catchers reporting date, the guys get here well before that day comes around. So a tough time of spring, but get this, in 2 weeks from today, this Astros club will be back at Minute Maid Park to play in an exhibition game against the Brewers, which means the team would essentially be set. Look, everyone wants to wish you a happy St. Patty's Day in their green jerseys and their green hats today. Are those green seeds? They should be green seeds too as well. But like I said, 2 weeks from today, they'll start playing some games back at their home ballpark. A couple of exhibition games first, but the team, like I said, will essentially be set at that point. Some serious decisions are going to have to be made before then, though. There's a couple of veteran guys on this team that the Astros are going to have to make decisions on, like left-hander Neil Kotz, like left-hander Wandy Rodriguez. Those will have to be made by maybe next weekend. So I want to ask the guys in the booth, a couple of former major leaguers, about this time of spring training. It's starting to wind down. The days are running out before opening day. So what is it like for you guys, for those who maybe know they're on the team, and for those who are trying to get on the team? What is this time of year like for them?
Yeah, Julia, I'll go ahead and jump in. If you're one of the veterans and you are going to make the team, you're probably already packed to some extent, ready to get back to your home city where you play and move on with this whole thing. If you're one of the guys trying to open eyes and you're performing well, there probably can't be a long enough spring. You want to get out there and keep playing, opening eyes, and giving yourself a chance. And I guess that's the best I could answer that.
Yeah, and it's unsettling for those guys that don't know that they're on the team. They don't know if they're going to be in AAA, AA, in Corpus Christi, or in Houston. So that's unsettling, especially if you're married. That changes it. There's another dynamic because you have more people concerned in those decisions. But it's just totally different. And I think, Ash, for the guys that know that they're on their team, the first couple of weeks they can work on things. And I always felt like the last couple of weeks of spring training, inside mentally, you're trying to carry some things over there, but you're not working on things. You're trying to compete so you can get ready for the season.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. The pitchers, and you know it, you're trying to build up arm strength, innings, that sort of thing, especially the starting pitchers. The other guys, how many at-bats do you need during a spring? You'll hear a variety of answers, and among those answers that I've heard through the years, 10. You know, just give me a good look at it, plenty of batting practice, and I'm ready to go.
You just want to see some breaking balls and see some good fastballs so you can get your timing down. And you just want to make sure you're seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hand.
So we've got the Astros on the field wearing their St. Patrick's Day green here, and led by A.J. Hinch. There's the complex last year here. We'll look at the Blue Jays lineup. See Chris Colabello, what a year he had last year. But leading it off, Ryan Goins, followed by Daryl Siciliani and Junior Lake. In the middle three, there is Chris Colabello. This is a guy that doesn't really have a defensive position per se, but he can really swing the bat. Meister Astros, newcomer with the Jays in there, and old-timer with the Astros, Matt Dominguez, bats sixth. Bottom three, Casey Kochman trying to get back to the big leagues. Gio Meyer, former Astro minor leaguer at #1 pick, and Josh Tolley is behind the plate.
Michael Feliz gets the start for the Astros. Split squad action today, so the Astros also have a group in Orlando playing the Atlanta Braves. Feliz gets the start in this one, 6'4" righty. You saw him for a couple of months last season for the Astros. Got in a handful of games. He's got a great fastball. We've seen that. He's low to mid-90s. We've seen 96, 97 on occasion. That slider continues to be a work in progress, and we've seen some really good depth to that pitch so far here in spring training. He's working with Brent Strom, the pitching coach, and it's coming along really well.
In those handful of games last year with the Astros, Michael Feliz didn't have much success. Gave up 9 hits in 8 innings, 7 runs. That equated to an ERA just under the 8 mark. So a lot of work to be done there. He also yielded a couple of home runs last year in those 8 innings. But on the minor league scene, bouncing between Lancaster and Corpus Christi, numbers were very good. The composite ERA at 2.83. So we'll see what Michael Feliz is able to accomplish here this afternoon. Set to go, Ryan Goins at the plate in the first offering, at the knees for a strike. With Feliz, is that one of the big issues, is trying to make sure he can throw a strike when needed and getting ahead on hitters?
I think it is. I mean, he wants to get to his fastball where he can elevate it and move it around.
Well, there was elevated heat and blown right on by. 0-2 the count on Goins.
Yeah, that was overpowering. And you see him reaching out toward the catcher. He feels more comfortable. We've seen the poise last year even when he wasn't even pitching that well, but I think it's even better this spring. He feels more comfortable.
Goins gets just a piece and fouls it back. Maybe a little bit rare. Goins, left-hand hitter, leadoff man, and not a big guy, not the big power guy that you're thinking about trying to yank home runs to right field, and yet the shift is on defensively for the Astros. Count moves to 1-2. I kind of like this green look on the uniforms.
It looks great. Yeah, we always look forward to seeing this. You think back to years past when we were fans of the game and seeing those spring training games on St. Patrick's Day, and just let you know that the opening day is just around the corner.
Breaking ball hit in the air to center. Jake Marisnick is there. He's backing. A little bit of a breeze blowing out toward right field, so maybe carrying that ball a bit.
Here's the defense for the Astros. Jake Marisnick, you just saw in center field. He'll be flanked with Tony Kemp in left, George Springer in right field. On the infield, Duffy and Correa on the left side of the infield. Altuve, Gonzalez on the right side, with Tyler Heineman doing the catching.
A lot of times when you were talking about, with most clubs during the spring, you might see the green hat. But this look with the green jerseys, very nice, along with the white uniform pants.
We were talking, there's not many teams that have green in their uniform, is there?
No, you really. Seattle, you mentioned kind of as a knee-jerk, they've got that teal color there. So I can't think of a single team that has straight-up green.
Right.
Good look on the field for the Astros today. Siciliani takes a strike. He's had a good spring, hitting .444 with a long ball and 4 RBIs.
Well, I like what I see early on with mechanics-wise with Michael Feliz. Good fluidity to all of that.
So I guess what I would ask is, do you see anything different? What did you see when you were able to watch 8 innings on the big league level last year for Feliz?
Well, I thought the slider was a bit flat, and that's what they've been working on. I've watched him in his bullpen sessions with the pitching coach, and what they're working on is to get that slider to go down a little bit more.
Fastball hit in the air to first base and handled there by Marwin, the utility guy that, I don't know if you want to call him a utility player. He can play anywhere. He does it very well. And what a continuance he has had with the bat from both sides of the plate.
Just keeps getting better. And it was about 3 years ago when it was an open tryout camp for all these Houston Astros, and he was one of the guys that outlasted everybody else, being able to remain on the team because of his value at different positions. But as a hitter, continues to grow.
You know, I think if you went back to last spring, that there wasn't really a consensus opinion about what kind of a player Marwin Gonzalez was. Just 1 year ago.
They were still trying to expand his versatility. Remember, he got some action in spring training in left field to maybe make sure they may be able to keep one less outfielder to keep him on the team.
I heard some say he didn't have a whole lot of speed, therefore not a lot of range. But he's got a great arm. And you can watch him at shortstop or third base, and he can bring it across with anybody.
I think as far as baseball acumen, the IQ that he has, I think he's as good as anybody on this team.
So you switch him to first base, and I can't see where you're going to lose anything other than the value of his arm. Junior Lake at the plate, hitting .227 on his spring.
When you see a guy like Marwin Gonzalez on first base, Ash, don't you think that the infielders around the diamond feel pretty comfortable that they can just get it in the vicinity and he's going to come up with it with those good hands?
I think that's a good point. Bring it tomorrow when we know what kind of hands he has. You take a guy that can play shortstop and put him at first, you probably figure he's going to pick a lot of throws.
He picked up the cutoffs and where to be so easily, and that's when that's when that baseball IQ comes in. He's been around the game a long time, and he just gets it. He understands his role. You
can also tell in watching during the pregame stuff that we get to see that Marwin is very comfortable in that acumen that you bring up, that feeling on the team, the feeling on the field. He's just he's a guy you can watch and know what the right thing to do is.
And because of that, it becomes one of the more valuable guys on this entire team. And you wouldn't think that you'd say that, but that's the truth.
Pitch has popped up. Feliz is going to have a nice 1-2-3 first inning if Jake Marisnick is able to haul it in. He does a 1-2-3 frame, with the Astros coming to the plate scoreless after a half. Bases here on the field, right here in Kissimmee, Osceola County Stadium. The Astros hope to touch those bases maybe a few more times than they have in recent ball games. The hitting has been on the quiet side. Yeah, that's the way it looks around the field. Field's in great shape, by the way, even at this point, middle of the spring. A lot of Astros fans, a lot of Blue Jays fans in the stands here this afternoon.
Yeah, the Blue Jays travel very well during spring training, don't they?
A little bit like your Alabama Crimson Tide, right?
That's right. They travel well. That's for sure.
Good look at the field here in Kissimmee. For the Astros today, Jose Altuve leads it off, followed by George Springer, who had a pair of hits yesterday. Carlos Correa just continuing to have a great camp. Middle three, it's Preston Tucker. A big hit a couple of days ago to drive in a run. Matt Duffy and Marwin Gonzalez. And the bottom three, Jake Marisnick. Tyler Heineman gets to start behind the plate. And Tony Kemp, he's an intriguing player in left field.
We've seen the top of the order guys, and you look at the first four that figure to be at the top of the lineup for the Astros, all hitting above 300. They'll take a look at Brad Penny today, that high, hard fastball. Oklahoma boy. He's had an extensive career, spent all of his season last year in AAA, just trying to find a chance to get back to the big leagues.
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. It's about as Oklahoma as it gets. Yeah, he's had quite a go at this big league career. 2013, he didn't play at all. Last year, played in the minor leagues and trying to make a return to the big leagues. A guy who has had a good deal of success in the major leagues as a starting pitcher.
Well, he's had to change his style. Not the hard thrower that he used to be, but he's trying to work it around. You saw that last pitch right on the outside corner. He used to be able to just have the catcher set right down the middle and keep it belt high and above and just mow through hitters.
Penny was a 16-game winner in back-to-back seasons, 2006 and 7. All-star in each one of those years. Third in the Cy Young Award balloting in 2007. So he's had his day in the sun. There's no doubt about that.
Big guy, 265 pounds, Brad Penny.
But that sun is shining constantly now on Jose Altuve, right in the heart of what already has become a terrific career. As Penny brings it, that slider again misses.
Jose, of course, batted second part of the season last year, and then they flip-flopped him again. George Springer went to the second spot. Now Altuve flourishes at the top of the order. The batting average is always going to be there for Jose. He's just got tremendous hand-eye coordination, gets the barrel to the ball as well as anybody.
25 years of age and already has two 200-plus hit seasons in the major leagues, back-to-back the last 2 years, and now has the count at 3-2. For Altuve, the batting average on this spring at 364. He's homered. He's got 4 doubles. He's driven in 6. And those 6 RBIs leading the club, tied with who else? Marwin Gonzalez. And Altuve draws the leadoff walk.
Well, here's the defense for the Toronto Blue Jays. Not all the regulars, of course, with Junior Lake. Well, he'll be out in left field. Daryl Siciliani, he's in center field. Dominic Brown in right field. Our old buddy Matt Dominguez at third. Gio Meyer, former Astro farmhand, he's at short. And Ryan Goins at second. Kochman at first base with Josh Tolley doing the catching.
So nobody out. Altuve aboard. The Astros have not been employing the running game much. The leader on the club, 2 stolen bases this spring, Tony Kemp. Hot shot back up the middle. George Springer, first pitch swinging, has himself a knock. The throw coming to third. Altuve's in easily, and Springer will take advantage. The Astros have runners at second and third, nobody out, and there's a top of the order that should be a lot of fun to watch this year.
Little credit goes to Rich Dower, first base coach for the Astros, sending Springer around first base, whips it up the middle, and Altuve aggressive, getting to third base. And the Astros mantra that ever since A.J. Hinch took over is always be concerned with 90 feet. If you can take that extra base, do it. Put the pressure on that defense. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah, I'm so anxious to see what this year holds for George Springer. And if he approaches what I think he's capable of, the Astros are going to just soar with him. Carlos Correa takes a close pitch down and away.
John Gibbons deciding to let the infield stay back just so he can keep them healthy. I'd hate to come in with Carlos Correa at the plate.
Yeah, that's not a guy, he and George Springer, that you would want to bring the infield in on the left side.
Bad for the dental plan.
Correa hitting .429 on the spring. And a 2-0 count. And if you're a pitcher and you fall behind 1-0, 2-0 on the big guy with the bat, and for the Astros right now, that's, quite frankly, Carlos Correa. It's not a comfy feeling 60 feet away, is it?
You know what stinks right here? You know first base is open, but you hate to do this in the first inning. You don't want that much traffic early on when you're just trying to establish a little comfortable feeling out there.
We'll talk about that during the season as this one curls back to the seats. There are times when you're very willing to walk Carlos Correa in this scenario, right?
Yeah, we've seen guys. In fastball counts, we've seen pitchers very unwilling to throw the fastball. They're trying to mix it up. They know what he can do, and you throw him something he's expecting.
So then what is the book if a lot of guys, most guys, are fastball hitters? Is Carlos Correa a guy that there really is no legitimate book on, or is it all about maybe in on the hands?
It becomes something where you have to locate your pitches. And it's that way with everybody, but especially him. There's smaller margin for error when you face a guy with this sound of a swing and with this much power who can do damage even on good pitches. We've seen that.
Yeah, the Astros trying to jump on top here in the first inning. And they'll have to do it with Preston Tucker coming to the plate. Bases are loaded, a couple of walks, a single by Springer. And how you would love to talk about this type of an inning during the regular season.
Preston Tucker's a good guy to have up here right now because he's swinging the bat well. He got a couple of hits in 2 days ago. By the way, Brad Penny, a 3-1 changeup to Carlos Correa right there.
What does that say to you?
There's a lot of respect for Carlos Correa. So he'll have to deal with Preston Tucker here, who right now, he's basically looking for a pitch elevated that he can just get into the outfield. He's trying to stay out of that double play more than anything.
Could Preston Tucker be justified in pressing right about now? And I'm not implying that he's having a poor spring, because he isn't.
Right.
It's about, is there a spot on this 25-man roster for Preston Tucker to leave with?
I think guys press more when they're not feeling good about their swing, Ash. I think he's feeling pretty good about his swing, so I would imagine he's pretty comfortable right here.
6 hits on the spring, one of those a home run. Has a 1-0 count.
What is it you like about Preston Tucker's swing when he's going good and bad?
Well, he handles things, and he can use the entire 90 degrees really well. When he's not pitching well, 14 pitches now, 10 have been balls from Brad Penny. When he's not going well, maybe starts to let that front elbow come up, and that puts him in a position where, in my opinion, you hit only one pitch. That's the fastball that's in cookie land for you.
So the front elbow goes up. What does that do to the barrel?
Well, number one, it opens the front shoulder, it opens the front hip, and you're kind of stuck on the speed that you're looking for rather than being able to adjust. But when he's good, that front elbow stays down as he takes ball 4, third walk of the inning. A run will come in now, and Jose Altuve is absolutely certain that it's ball 4. And everybody's kind of hanging around waiting to find out. Home plate umpire Larry Vanover today.
Yeah, that was 4.
Not very convincing, at least as far as the base runners were concerned, about calling ball 4.
So 16 pitches now for Brad Penny, and 12 of those have missed the strike zone.
That's an easy way to pick up a ribby, number 4 for Preston Tucker.
And I'll give you the pitcher's perspective. The guys in the bullpen, they're going, uh-oh.
Tight zone?
No, they're saying we may have to pitch more than we originally thought.
Yes.
Guys in the bullpen, they're saying, all right, I can kick back the first 3 or 4 innings. No, may not be the case unless he can wiggle out of this quickly.
So it's Matt Duffy at the plate, the guy who had 3 very early home runs in spring training. And they were legit. He lines one into right field. That's a base hit. That'll plate 1. And with Carlos Correa coming to the plate, it'll plate 2. The throw into third, and it hits Preston Tucker in the back, and everybody's safe. So there's yet to be an Astro hitter retired. 2-0 Houston, runners at first and third, and Marwin Gonzalez coming to the plate.
Well, I know you love Matt Duffy. Look at the way he handles this off-speed pitch away. A lot of guys will roll over that pitch, but he stays behind it so well. Doesn't try to pull it, and he's able to knock in a couple of runs for the Astros.
You know, there are guys in camp right now that may have a shot of making this club. In most cases, it's pretty tough to break in. But Matt Duffy is a guy, in my opinion, who is ready to play and contribute right now.
I think the coaching staff feels the same way, Alan.
Nobody out. Marwin at the plate. He takes low. If you're wondering how good the good spring for Marwin has been, that we've talked about, 421 the batting average, 4 home runs to lead the club. Tied for leadership in RBIs with 6. So it's been very good.
And maybe noteworthy that 2 of the home runs have come from the left side and 2 from the right side, which lets you know he can handle righties and lefties.
Ball and a strike on Marwin. By the way, for Matt Duffy, now 6 RBIs, so he is now part of a threesome with the Astros, leading the team 6 ribbies. Popped up on the left side. Foul territory for Matt Dominguez. There is finally an out, and they get the guy who's been so tough to get out, Marwin Gonzalez.
It looked like one of his hands slipped off the bat that time and probably redirected the barrel. That's why he ended up popping that up. Looked like a very hittable pitch.
Jake Marisnick will stride in.
Ash, what do you think about right here? Third baseman back, Marisnick's speed. Only 1 out. He lays one down. That's another run scored for the Astros.
Yeah, I wonder. During the season, go for it if you feel like you got it.
More so during the season,
Yeah.
but he's still trying to get in a groove offensively. I hear you.
I think Jake knows he's a part of the team. I think he wants to show that he's implementing what they're working on with his hitting stroke. And yeah, I'd be surprised. 0-2 as Penny gets ahead.
I do think in the course of a season, I think Jake Marisnick would be well served to lay a few down every once in a while with that speed.
He's got the speed.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about guys with instincts. Jake Marisnick is one of those players for me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one of the best base runners that you'll find on this team for sure.
Pat Venditti, the guy in the bullpen that can throw from either side very close as Marisnick survives for another pitch.
Switch pitcher out there warming up. He's warming up right-handed right now. He's going to have to get the other wing loose.
We saw him, 4 or 5 days ago, somewhere in that range, come in and pitch left-handed. So with a guy like Venditti, if your starting pitcher in a game like this doesn't last the first inning, can you bring him in to get you 2 innings from the right side, 2 from the left?
That's what you're trying to do. I mean, it's an opportunity of a guy that's trying to make the team. You're thinking, hey, this is a good thing for me. You know, you don't want to lose or you don't want a teammate to do poorly, but it's an opportunity to show what you can do to the big league staff. Pete Walker, their pitching coach, he's here. He's watching.
Just outside, so it's 2-2. Jake Marisnick, such a great outfielder, terrific base runner, brings a lot, but he's been quiet with the bat, a 154 mark.
Do you trust Marisnick enough to send the runner here?
In a game like this, sure.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Find out what you got, find out what you can do, and sometimes hitters that are struggling will be given hit and run scenarios. Of course, this wouldn't be hit and run with 2 strikes, but
opens up
just
some holes.
To force him to swing.
Shorten up.
Yep.
And it opens up some holes in the infield.
Some guys will say they don't like to hit with runners in motion, but you shake things up when you're scuffling, and Jake continues to scuffle a bit. Down on strikes, that's 2 outs as the 8-hitter Tyler Heineman comes to the plate.
Perfect location on that last pitch. When you're thinking 2 strikes and you can dot it low and away, right at the knees, you know, it's tough for a hitter, number one, to pull the trigger on a pitch that starts off the plate and comes back to that outside corner.
So the Astros get 3 runs quickly here in the first inning, but have started to sputter with the offense a bit. Tyler Heineman, switch hitting catcher. Getting that chance to start today with a split squad. Penny's starting to make some pretty good pitches.
Yeah, he's starting to lock in. Sometimes you get mad and you become less tentative than you would at the start of the game. And it's probably where he is right now. Getting ready to throw his 30th pitch.
Runner goes from first. Pitch is outside. It'll be a stolen base. Matt Duffy picks it up. And again, we mentioned the Astros have not run a lot on the spring, I believe, and have not talked to the skip about it. But I think it's a confident club with the running game. I think they know what they can do and are just trying to protect themselves coming out of spring training.
They have plenty of guys who can run, and they can. Their success rate on stolen bases was great last year.
Backdoor effort stays away.
For me, I think it's just a matter of trying to get out of Florida as healthy as you can. So why burn these guys or risk injuries? You can have an awkward slide or hamstring issues the more you run, all that stuff. So just, do your conditioning. You know it's in there.
Live to run another day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Line but foul down the left side.
Well, backup catcher becomes an issue for the Astros, and Tyler Heineman is right in the middle of it. He's a switch-hitting catcher. Swings well from both sides. He's a gap-type hitter, a college guy. He went to UCLA, and a huge personality. He's the type of guy that you'd love to have on your team.
He's the guy that had the card tricks, a little bit of magic trick stuff going on early on in the camp, and it was quite impressive, I have to tell you.
Just picked it up last offseason and has a knack for it. Start to get a mentor, a tutor.
Talk about the personality. He doesn't shy away from it at all.
No. No, he's a lot of fun to be around.
Hits it in the air to center field. Siciliani is back near the warning track to haul it in, and that'll do it. The Astros pick up 3 runs as their first 5 hitters reached in this one. They lead it 3-0 after 1. Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new habanero pepper Jack Ultimate Cheeseburger only at Jack in the Box. Astros pick up 3 in the first inning. Lead it 3-0. Green everywhere here at the ballpark today as we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. The Astros do it in style, leading 3-0 early.
Yeah, we talked about that. The bats have gone a little silent in the last few days. It's good to see those regulars, Altuve, Springer, Correa, those guys chipping in. Duffy continues to have a hot spring, contributing to an early lead for Houston.
Just a couple of hits in that first inning, but
good at bats.
Well hit balls, George Springer and Matt Duffy. We go to the second inning. 4, 5, 6 coming up for the Blue Jays. Chris Colabello, who had that big offensive year last year, stands in. First pitch swinging. Matt Duffy with the throw. Kind of drops down. He's got that kind of sure thing throw. A lot of guys that have the big arms will throw over the top. Matt Duffy just kind of drops down and throws the what we would probably call a sinker type throw, but you can locate it much more easily than the guys that hump it across.
Yeah, for me, I'm just looking for a guy replacing his feet and get a little momentum on that throw. And I think fundamentally he's great with his feet, and that's why he's so accurate with that toss across the diamond.
One out for right fielder Dominic Brown. Yeah, so as you watch different players, and Matt Duffy, for me, is a guy that has this spring really started to jump out. I liked what I saw last year. He was a pinch hitter, basically, that didn't seem scared. Ground balls back up the middle, but with the shift on, Carlos Correa is in position to make the play. 2 outs on ground balls. But what I'm seeing with Matt Duffy is he looks like a guy who's confident on the field defensively, whether it be at first or third.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And I think he pays close attention to do things right all the time. When he's practicing, you can tell he's just not going through the motions. He wants to be a major league ball player, and he got a little taste of it. He was on that playoff roster for the Astros in that wild card game, and he liked what he was feeling. He liked that confidence in the coaching staff.
Yeah, it gets reciprocated when you come up with some good swings. He had a big double back in Houston that really helped the club out.
Yeah, down the stretch when it really mattered.
Pitch is fouled back. Matt Dominguez at the plate.
Our old buddy.
Yeah, you may remember Matty D.
Great defense at third base. One of the really good pair of hands down at the hot corner. A really good guy.
You know, you talk about guys that don't have great range. Matt Dominguez doesn't run well, and yet you referred to him as a great defensive third baseman. He handled things that he could get to very well.
First step was excellent, so his range really wasn't that diminished that well, and he could play in with anybody because he could react well to his left or right. Very sure-handed and a very accurate throwing arm.
Another thing about Matt Dominguez that I think sometimes gets forgotten is the power he possesses.
I remember him taking a Aroldis Chapman way out in Cincinnati a few years ago.
Well, he hit 21 home runs in that 2013 season in Houston. Shoots one sharply, but there's Marwin somewhere near. He'll make the play. He feeds onto the bag, and that'll do it. A 1-2-3 inning. 3 ground ball outs in the second. It's 3-0 Houston.
Wild card win as they take on A-Rod and the Yankees. Opening day in Gotham coming your way on April 4th, only on Root Sports. We've got a couple of games before that, though, and we'll be back in Kissimmee March 22nd here in a couple of days. Dallas Keuchel will join me for pregame that day, so you have to tune in. Dallas Keuchel had some great things to say this offseason about his really spectacular season that he had in 2015. It was good to hear him talk about it after it's all behind him. You know, he gets really focused during the season. You guys talk to him too. Always in the zone, always wanting to get better. But having a chance to kind of look back and reflect on the kind of year that he had was really interesting. So catch that on March 22nd, guys.
Thank you, Julia. Yeah, I wonder, as you think toward opening day, starting things in New York against the vaunted Yankees. Does it bring a little extra intensity? Is there a little extra confidence for the Astros players that were part of that victory last year?
I think there is. I think those guys really grew up in that game and realized that they were for real. That was the real big shining moment in my eyes. That was a big stage.
Tony Kemp at the plate.
And Dallas Keuchel, it's a little different when you come off so many accolades. And you're the Cy Young winner. There are a lot of demands in the offseason. You pitch deep into the postseason. How are you going to get that rest? But he's so disciplined. You feel like he can handle it easily.
Kemp puts it on the ground slowly. Out number 1 in the second.
So Penny, 34 pitches, Ash, in the first inning. Faced 8
but
hitters.
a lot were strikes, right?
16 of them were strikes, yeah. So
yeah, that was not an impressive inning.
He gets to face the top of the order again, and all these guys have seen him, and it wasn't that long ago.
Jose Altuve came around to score the game's first run after walking in the first inning. There were 3 walks in that inning, 2 hits. Springer and Duffy had those hits. Duffy had a pair of RBIs. Preston Tucker picked up an RBI walking with the bases loaded. So 1 out for Altuve.
Seems like a common theme for Jose Allen is every spring training he's going to try to be a little bit more disciplined, maybe increase that on-base percentage even a little bit more. But things tend to change a little bit once the season starts. I think the idea is pretty good, but for him, you just have to realize he's a very aggressive hitter. Be selective. That's good. I mean, pick your poison, pick your pitchers you want to be selective on. But when it's all said and done, when he's aggressive and swinging the bat well, you want him to swing.
If, as your leadoff hitter, you want Altuve's on-base percentage to be a key that can lead to runs scored, then clearly that's got to be in the right direction.
Yep.
Altuve pops it up. 2 outs in the second. The on-base percentage last year for Altuve, while hitting on the season .313, on base at .353.
I'll take that.
That's 20-plus points above the league average. The year before that, when he hit .341, he had a .377. And so, yeah, if he pushes those 2 numbers upward, then he's really doing something.
In both of those years, he had 36 walks and 33 walks. So if he could push that to 45, 50, you're looking at something. You're talking about a guy that's got a .380 on-base percentage, possibly.
Now you move to George Springer in the lineup. And is it about on base, or is it about slugging and driving in runs? And therein kind of lies what for me can become a bit of a dichotomy. George hits it in the air and deep down the right field side. Better take a look at this one. And it's off the wall. Springer has his second hit of the game. He's not going to stop before third base. He'll be in there standing, takes a look at Gary Pettis, the third base coach, and has a 2-out triple. So Springer with a single and triple in 2 at-bats. And Carlos Correa coming to the plate.
Well, he's versatile enough to continues to slug that baseball. That one's right down the right field line, going the other way. He thought he may have had it. He really didn't start picking it up running-wise until he got to first base, and then he really turned it on. Look at him. He's jogging. He's thinking it's got a chance. Now he's going to pick it up. And he knows he's going to get to third base. So for me, when you're talking about the dichotomy, Allen, I think in situations with 2 outs, nobody on, he can try to drive the ball and get into scoring position like he just did.
Look, he's so strong. He is a rare talent for me.
I think everybody recognizes that. And I think he knows it too.
But I think the guy that has now proven himself as that leading rare talent is Carlos Correa.
Yeah.
In terms of pure tools, George Springer he's riding on that same elevator. Ball and a strike on Carlos.
You can talk about, hey, these announcers, man, they're really liking these players. There's a lot to like about these players. You talk about these first 3 in the order, Altuve, Springer, and Correa. That's as good as it gets.
Altuve is proven. Correa is pretty darn close to proven.
It's evident.
Yeah, it's evident. And if you're around the team and you get a chance to see what George Springer's all about, you know that it's possible.
And you have to account for the makeup. The makeup is off the charts. That leads you to believe nothing's going to change as far as George Springer's work ethic and that team mode. I've never seen anybody less selfish. For a guy who could go 0 for 4, he couldn't be more happy for his teammates when they do well and the team wins.
Very true. He and Jake Marisnick seem to have a thing together, and they keep the positive coming. High drive, deep center field. Siciliani is back at the wall and leaps, comes down empty. It is a 2-run home run by Carlos Correa, right on the heels of that triple by George Springer. That'll push the Houston lead to 5-0 here in the second inning, and more evidence of what Carlos Correa can do.
He's certainly a crowd pleaser, and this is a moonshot, a towering shot to center field where, first glance, if you're a pitcher, you're thinking that's caught. And if you're center fielder, you're thinking I got it. But it just keeps carrying. He creates so much backspin on that ball. Look at the torque as he twists through that pitch. And he's a special player.
We'll bring up Preston Tucker. Walk, driving in a run in the first inning. Yeah. Rarefied error where Carlos Correa hangs out.
Look at your scorebook, Alan. First 3 hitters in the order for the Astros. They've scored 5 runs in this game, and it's the second inning.
And Altuve's only 1 for 2. Or in terms of getting on base.
Right.
0 for 1 on the afternoon. Yeah, it's been really good. And you'd love, every team would love to have the top of the order be successful on a in-game basis. Brad Penny wants to know where that pitch was. I think he's a little frustrated at this point. Where was it?
Yeah, now it's getting the best of him. His hands out, straight out. DeMarlo Hale, one of the coaches for this Blue Jays team, is going to go out and try to calm down Penny, who's clearly frustrated. Larry Vanover, veteran umpire. That last pitch looked pretty good. It started inside. It was that swing back 2-seamer that had Tucker bailing out of the way, and it was pretty close to being a strike.
Kind of saw some of that move that I was talking about from Preston Tucker on that pitch. Brad Penny, I would say that it doesn't matter at what stage of your career you happen to be. It's tough. You want to make the team. You want to perform well, and Penny's been around a long time. We talked about some of the things he's done, but when you're having a start to a ball game like this, you feel like you're being cheated. That line shot is handled at second base by Goins. So that'll do it as Penny gets through the second inning, but not before the Astros strike with 2 outs. A triple by George Springer, and then Carlos Correa enters the scene. After 2 innings of play and a long ball by Carlos Correa mixed in, the Astros having some early fun. Nice to see the offense come alive here in the 3rd inning. We're going to have another chance to chat with A.J. Hinch, the skip. You on there, A.J.? A.J.'s been having some headset issues down in the dugout. You on?
I'm on.
Did you say A.J. had some head issues?
Yeah, I got a lot of issues, Sparky. The headset is one of them.
Hey, you having some fun early, Skip?
Yeah, I mean, so far, you know, we've played some pretty good baseball. You know, the first to third by Altuve, the first to third by Tucker. Some small things that seem trivial in spring training are actually a big deal. So it's been a good start to the day.
You know, it's really obvious when you see Carlos Correa launch one to center field. But I was impressed with George Springer hitting one that far on a ball that, you know, he really didn't hit that hard, I don't think. Maybe centered it up nicely, but what a load of talent there at the top of the order.
Yeah, so chalk this up for things I'll say on a broadcast that I won't tell them personally is like when they mishit it, they're pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not going to tell them to their face because they can't quite handle it, but I joke with them. But, man, they're talented, and our guys, one thing we bring every day is our athleticism and some strength. And when you see Correa as the ball kept carrying, when you see Springer, watch him run around first to third, pretty special group of guys.
Hey, Michael Feliz looking good in the early going. A lot of strikes, staying ahead in the count, and continued improvement with that slider, AJ.
Yeah, we gave him a goal today of first pitch strikes.
There you go.
And once he does that and he gets ahead, he can put guys away. He's got really good pitches throughout his arsenal, but it all starts with strike one with him. And when he tries to be too fine, he gets in a little bit of trouble, but he's been very efficient so far.
As a former catcher, does first pitch strikes leave you with any fear that translates to throwing a fastball every first pitch?
A little bit. Maybe with the younger kids, they think that's the only pitch they can throw for a strike. But, you know, the other thing that I like, and we've been stressing with Heineman's catching today, we have Castro doing it, the game is played over the plate. And so you have to go up and down over the plate in the big leagues. The guys don't chase as much off the plate as maybe people think. So getting them on the plate and getting them comfortable with every pitch, throw a strike, initiate contact is a big deal.
There's a base hit to start things for the Blue Jays here in the third inning. That pitch was up. Casey Kochman has seen it before and handles it nicely.
AJ, that was one of those pitches. Heineman was flashing that glove a little higher than high. He wanted him to throw that probably chest high and only got to the belt. And that's tough for a young pitcher to elevate that pitch, but you have to practice it.
Yeah, we do. We want to finish the ball up on the plate where the hitter sees strike out of the hand, and then the ball obviously carries a little bit above. Now the danger zone is right below that. And you see, I mean, obviously just a single right there, it's not as big a deal, but some of the big boys will deposit that if you're not careful.
Right.
AJ, how much is spring training about what you are looking to see over the course of a ball game as opposed to what you see during the game and then wind up either pleased or feeling the other way about it?
So I think this part of the spring, the next 2 weeks, is a big deal where you're starting to think about the game in a regular season mode. We'll start to match up our relievers. We'll start to have the guys stay the whole game, and maybe our relievers who usually pitch in the fourth or fifth inning are now going to start to pitch late in the games like they do during the season. And what I tell our guys, you know, most mornings is I care about how you do it, not just what you do. Like, I get it. We have guys that get hits. It's a really weird game in spring training where there's a fundamental part of practicing, and then you're implementing things into the game. For example, in the first and third, Marisnick had an easy push bunt that would have scored the run and got the guy from first to second. Marisnick probably gets a hit. He's working on some mechanical things, so he didn't bunt, but in the season he will.
How about this play by Matt Duffy to start a double play? That is a whale of a play on a ball that came up on Duffy and still able to make it. We've been talking about his hands down there. Skip, I'll let you talk about it. I don't know if you could actually see that play, but that was a gem.
It was. You know, he's a good player on both corners, and he doesn't get enough credit. You know, we talk about all our prospects in our organization, and we're very proud of them, and some of them are a little more famous than others, and all Duffy did is win the PCL MVP and come up and get a taste of September. So he's fighting to make our roster. Plays like that certainly get everyone's attention, but I trust Matt Duffy on our team if he ends up making it at both corners and he puts up a pretty good at-bat like he did earlier.
You're kind of covering us pretty well with some of the comments made here in the first couple of innings of the game. He just looks like a guy who's ready to play on the big league level given the chance.
Yeah, he's done everything that you need to, and when you answer every test in the minor leagues, I mean, the only test left is to do it in the big leagues in the bright lights. So we'll see how the rest of the spring shakes out.
AJ, a little bit on the lighter side, your catcher today, Tyler Heineman. We've gotten to know him, and I just think he's hilarious. One of the more fun guys that you'll see in camp. Tell me about your relationship with him and how you feel he's progressed.
Yeah, he's doing well. You know, he's fighting to be a big leaguer, which is always the toughest step to take, and he has a way about himself that's sort of magnetic with his teammates. He's an easy guy to like behind the scenes, and he's worked his way as a non-famous prospect to get to AAA, controls his own, controls the game. He doesn't get to start much, even in spring training, and so there's a rallying component to Tyler Heineman, and he's starting to become a factor. You know, the backup catcher job is still open with Max Stassi getting hurt, and Pena and Heineman and Gonzalez. some external candidates being discussed. I mean, this is the time for him to play under a little bit of duress with a job that's open.
Michael Feliz apparently has no respect for the skip on the air, and he's trying to get through the inning quickly after a base hit. But have you been able to see the things you wanted to see, the teamwork on cutoff throws from the outfield, infield drawn in type scenarios enough on this spring?
Yeah, so we're going to play the infield in a lot this year. You know, I've looked at a lot of different plays, and so stuff like that we practice where we may not have done it during the season with no outs as an example. We'll do it during the spring. But one of the things I love about our team is how we prepare and how we practice. And we practice everything. Correa gets the ground ball up the middle. We practice that angle of play every day.
Ground ball gets through the right side on by Marwin Gonzalez. Back-to-back hits here in the third inning with 2 outs.
With my broadcast.
Yeah,
right now.
I think he may be listening in here on us.
Of him. Okay, we need to get another out.
You know, the thing about it is that's very clear is that the guys on this Astros club listen to their skipper.
That's right. Well, I'd like him to get an out, this hitter. Does that work?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go with that
mostly
one.
It's funny how you think as a manager in spring training a little bit differently. Obviously, he would have gone 3 up, 3 down. That would have been tremendous. But this is a good example of Neshek and Kotz are both going to throw. We're going to start to match up our guys over the next couple of innings. And so literally this at-bat can dictate who comes in next inning, whether it's Neshek to face Lake or whether if there's another hitter or two and they get back to the left-handed components, we want to take a look at Kotz. So there is some strategy behind this. The fact that he gave up a couple hits is not ideal, but it does shape the next couple of innings when you're managing a club in spring.
Well, AJ, it sounds like you got a lot on your plate down there. We're going to let you get away to manage this ball club and get the final out of the third inning. But thanks a lot again for joining us.
Yeah, anytime. I love coming on.
You bet. That's AJ Hinch, and a quality guy. Obviously doing a great job with these Houston Astros.
He's created a new culture for this team. Obviously, talent has had a lot to do with it, and he'll say that, but kind of self-deflecting at times. I think he's done a great job.
Now we timed it just perfectly as the fly ball goes to center field. Siciliani is out as Jake Marisnick makes the play. That'll do it for the Jays in the third. They get a couple of 2-out singles and strand them. It's 5-0 Houston.
Five to nothing lead as we go to the bottom of the third inning against the Toronto Blue Jays. The Astros, the home opener is going to be on April 11th against the Kansas City Royals, and tickets are on sale right now. Watch the Astros kick off 2016 by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/opening day.
So we've got a new pitcher on for the Toronto Blue Jays to work the third inning. He'll be facing the 5, 6, 7 spots. Matt Duffy, Marwin Gonzalez, and Jake Marisnick. Pat Venditti, a guy we talked about that can throw from either side and pitches in the major leagues, left and right. He'll come on as a right-hander now in the third inning.
Well, his dad had an idea when he was young that he noticed he could do a few different things, right-handed and left-handed. So they looked into it. They got a glove from Japan where he could put it on either hand. The problem is at the major league level when he faces a hitter, he's got to dictate what hand he's going to throw with, so the hitter's always going to have an advantage if he's a switch hitter on which side to go to.
Now you say, so he has to declare when he goes out there for that inning. He can't change at any point during the inning.
For that hitter.
For that hitter.
Right. Out of Creighton University, Pat Venditti. It's such a crazy story. Throws a lot of sliders from both sides. Got a sinking fastball and a changeup. Basically, right around the same speed from both sides, right in the mid-80s.
That's a phenomenal story. just to get to the major leagues as a pitcher. But then to be able to do it from either side,
right,
it's almost mind-blowing.
Astros saw him in the same division last year with the Oakland A's.
Matt Duffy had a big first inning hit. He drove in a pair.
Had a couple of snazzy plays on defense already in this ball game. Having a great game.
How about that play to start the double play on Gio Meyer?
That was big. Absorbed that off to the side. Third baseman will talk about a lot of times when they're fielding a ball off to their side, especially a hot smash, they can track it a lot better with their eyes.
Well, you can get it deeper because you can actually catch it behind you as well. And not so sure he didn't kind of get that one behind that front part of the body. Matt Dominguez ranges wide to the left to make the play, and out number one.
Well, he knows how to do it. We've seen that a lot. Sure hands over there. He's very comfortable, Matt Dominguez.
Brings up Marwin Gonzalez, who made the first out for the Astros in the first inning. Hitter number 6. He wound up popping out, and Steve Sparks mentioned that it looked like one of the hands came off the bat and possibly created that pop-up.
Yeah. He's had a great spring.
For the Astros, Pat Neshek loosening in the pen down the left side.
So here's the situation. You got a switch hitter at the plate. Pat Venditti is letting them know he's going to throw left-handed right here. So Marwin going to go to the right side. Get a better look at that slider coming into him. So right-handed the first hitter of the inning and puts that glove on the other hand. It's a 6-fingered glove.
Pitch is fouled. It makes me think, okay, so when he warmed up this inning, did you watch him? Did he throw everything from the right side?
I watched him in the bullpen warming up, and he threw from both sides. And he just threw 2 pitches from the left side. So he was anticipating throwing right-handed to that first hitter.
Okay, here's one for you.
Is this a test?
On the Baseball Reference site, you're going to look for Pat Venditti in this ball game. If you look under right-handed pitchers, you're not going to find him.
Really? Is he under switch?
No, he's not. He does not have his own column. But, yeah, he was only to be found under the left-hand pitcher column. And for the moment, they are right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm
4 minutes ago, they were wrong.
Really curious why the Blue Jays decided they wanted to face Marwin batting right-handed.
Well, he has more power right-handed, doesn't he?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to face him this way.
Yep.
Long throw from shortstop. That'll do it for Marwin. A couple of outs here in the third inning as Jake Marisnick comes to the plate.
I'm wondering what they do with Pat Venditti when they've got switch hitters coming up in an inning. Does he have a wristband with how he needs to pitch to certain hitters if they're switch hitters? Does the coach motion from the dugout, hey, turn him over to the right hand?
Yeah, you look into the dugout, your pitching coach tells you, you know, I want to see you from this side.
Yeah.
And then do you ask yourself, did I do something wrong from the other side that he's not happy about?
Now, have you seen guys that can throw real well with the opposite arm?
I actually haven't. There was a guy back in the 1970s, early 70s with the Cleveland Indians who got drafted, who all the stories I heard were that he threw, everybody was saying, man, you got to see this guy. He throws equally well with both arms. Of course, he never got past rookie ball because the equality there was a little shy of major league level.
Right. Well, Vince Velasquez, who was on the Astros team last year, supposedly could throw 89 miles per hour left-handed. His junior year in high school, he had hurt his throwing arm, so he played that whole season left-handed and went to a showcase after the year and was clocked at 89. That's pretty salty.
That is really impressive. I loved what I saw from him. There were times when it was hard for him to kind of stay away from hitters just fouling him off one pitch after another. I don't know what that's all about.
I think it had to do with lateral movement on his fastball, really.
Marisnick grounds it foul.
A little in between that true four-seamer that had that carry or the two-seamer. You see guys get a lot of depth on their pitches, but a whale of an arm.
There was the one game, I think, in Chicago that he looked like he found it, and he looked great.
Yep.
Good swing by Jake as he fouls it back.
Of course, traded over to the Phillies in that Ken Giles trade. You're going to have to give up something to get something like that. You know, another guy who could throw really well left-handed and through batting practice to his teammates left-handed was George Brett.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep, did it all the time.
Well, I played with a guy, as this one is popped up on the right side. See if it stays in play. It will not. A Story enabler. As old teammate of mine, Mark Bailey.
Yeah.
Guy that caught alongside with me, and he could throw left-handed, but he didn't throw a baseball so much left-handed as a football.
Really?
Yeah, and then he shot basketballs left-handed. So yeah, it was totally ambi with him.
He's a great athlete anyway, isn't he?
Well, he's a heck of a golfer, I can tell you that.
Yep.
Well, this one's popped up and it says end of the story right here. As the second baseman Goins makes the play, that'll do it for the Astros. A 1-2-3 third inning as the lefty-righty Venditti comes in to get it done. 5-0 Houston after 3.
Astros on top of the Blue Jays, 5-0 top of the fourth. Our guy in green is lord of the dance here between innings. Houston Astros 28-game ticket plans are on sale now. To learn more about our plans and season ticket options for 2016, sign up for your VIP appointment tour by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS. So I asked A.J. Hinch about the split squad. How did he decide who stays, who goes? This road trip for the Astros being just down the road in Orlando, the shortest road trip for the guys here in the Grapefruit League, or for Kissimmee, actually, not too far. But he said that he does it by tandem. So Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve wants them to play together, get some more time together, really, as they get ready for the regular season. Some of the guys in the outfield as well. Also, Roberto Pena, he wanted him to be catching Mike Fiers, who was on the mound over there, as he's vying for one of the backup catcher spot as well. And then some of the guys that he's made go on long trips, or some of the guys that haven't really made long trips, like the veterans that don't go on the longer trips, have made that short trip to Orlando. So just a little FYI for you guys.
Pat Neshek is on. Thanks, Julia. And the first hitter against him drives one to the gap in right center field up against the wall. It's a leadoff double for Junior Lake.
Got a thigh-high fastball on the outside corner that Lake was able to just ride in the other direction. Marisnick was shaded over into the left center field gap, so he really had no chance to get that baseball, as Neshek's greeted with a loud double to right center.
So with Neshek coming on, that means Michael Feliz is done. Sparky, what'd you think of Feliz afternoon?
Wow, I was very impressed. AJ was talking about one of the things he was going to work on was those first pitch strikes, and that's what he did. He threw a ton of strikes, had a nice fluid delivery, seen improvement with that slider along the way, and a couple of really good changeups to go with it.
Neshek brings the slider and misses.
Yeah, Julia mentioned that the split squad action. The Astros in the third inning over in Orlando playing the Braves. They're trailing 3-0. Mike Fiers started that one.
They get the the strike on the appeal. Ball and a strike. So Michael Phillies and Mike Fiers getting the starts today in the split squad.
You mentioned Colabello, what a season he had last year for these Blue Jays, and what a route he's taken to get to the big leagues. Coming up as an older guy a couple of years ago with the Twins. He played in the independent leagues for what, 6-7 years before he ever got an opportunity to even play in the minor leagues with an affiliation anywhere.
Well, I bet he was dynamite in the independent leagues because he was dynamite with the bat last year. Now, Blue Jays, I think, admittedly have had issues trying to find a place defensively for Colabello. I think first base winds up being the candidate that leaves the least problems for Toronto. Colabello grounds out as Carlos Correa makes the play, and out number 1.
Well, we saw a great performance by Michael Phillies the first 3 innings. Shutout baseball against this Blue Jays team. Look at these other guys, and we saw 2 of them here in spring training along with Phillies. David Paulino, 6'7" righty who has a mid-90s fastball with a devastating curveball. Joe Musgrove, what a season a year ago in Corpus Christi, just 8 walks and over 100 innings pitched. Francis Martis, only 20 years old. Everybody says this guy might be Johnny Cueto. I mean, they say his stuff is as good as anybody in the minor leagues.
Well, it seems like everywhere you look in the Astros minor league system, it's just loaded with talent.
7 teams going to the playoffs last year. A lot of top prospects all around baseball.
That changeup as Neshek kind of throws the glove at you and maybe makes you flinch in the process.
Maybe one of the more severe differentiations between speed of a fastball and a changeup in the league. That one just floats in there. It doesn't look like it's even going to get there.
Infield drawn in. We heard A.J. Hinch talking about that. This base hit doesn't care about the infield drawn in. RBI single for Dominic Brown. And that puts the Blue Jays on the board. It's 5-1 here in the 4th inning.
Like that tennis topspin shot just over the center or the shortstop's head. Just served it that direction.
Chris Everett stays on the baseline.
That's right.
We've talked a little about Dallas Keuchel today. He pitches Saturday, a couple of days.
Yeah, the Astros actually have an off day that day, but Keuchel's going to come and pitch in a minor league game to make sure he stays on schedule.
Hot shot backhanded by Duffy. He'll start another double play on a shot that easily could have gone down into the left field corner. Matt Duffy has made 2 gems down there and 2 double plays turned. 5-1 after 3.5. A nice start to the ball game offensively, certainly, and defensively for that matter. Sparky's talked about the fine pitching from Michael Phillies. Astros leading 5-0. Let's see what's going on around the major leagues. Have you heard about Adam LaRoche saying he's had enough because the White Sox don't want his son in the clubhouse?
Yeah, that was a little strange. From what we've heard last year and the beginning of spring training, that his son Drake was allowed to come into the spring training complex or even during the season with Chicago, but he was always one of those guys that worked, helped the coaches, had some jobs along, and was going to earn his keep to be able to hang out with his dad in the clubhouse. But Kenny Williams, the front office for the White Sox, decided to change that rule just a bit, just to make sure that the team could stay on top of things. And I'm curious what you have to say about this, because I've been in these situations a couple times, Ash. I felt like it got a little uncomfortable with somebody's son in there too much.
Here's what I think, and I've heard people say, but none of his teammates are complaining about it. Well, I think you and I both agree that teammates are not likely to come out and say, you know what, I'm not pleased with what's been going on. They're going to back their teammate,
right,
no matter what they may honestly feel. So I don't think everybody's hearing that side of the story in an accurate fashion.
Right.
I think that most players cherish certain times in the clubhouse and on the field and feel like it's time for work and not for anything else. And you can say all the nice things, and I have 6 kids of my own, and I wanted to be around my kids as much as possible, but I didn't think in the Major League clubhouse at times and on the field were the right places.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's a time and a place, and when you're getting ready to try to work on your craft, and I think everybody demands surroundings to get that taken care of, especially in spring training. I mean, there's a lot of guys with stress going on in their lives because they don't know if they're going to make it or not, and to have to deal with, and from what we've heard, Drake LaRoche, the kid, is just a great kid, and he couldn't be more helpful and polite, but that's not the point.
You know, and you also have the issue of, okay, so it's okay for this guy as the first pitch is lined into left field, solid base hit. Tyler Heineman has a knock going the other way, as Joe Biagini now is the new pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, Tyler checks in with a really pretty swing, that inside-out type of swing, and laced a nice liner into left field.
But, so what about the teammates? They say, you might have 10 other teammates that say, well, you know what, I want my son out there then too. How about my daughter? You know, and then you start kind of carrying it forward, and pretty soon you don't have a ball club trying to get ready together. You have kind of you have a circus going on.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think the story maybe is not being relayed exactly the way guys feel. Fly ball down the left side, and that drops in foul territory. Lake came over, moved across the chalk, and then apparently just never saw that ball.
You know, he was looking at that barrier down the left field line, looked down, and then when he looked back up, you see that sun reflecting off his sunglasses, and it almost hit him in the shoulder. I mean, he really never saw that.
Nobody out here in the fourth. The Astros picked up 3 runs in the first inning, 2 in the second, all off of Brad Penny trying to make a return to the major leagues. The Astros now have a lefty throwing in the pen. Neil Kotz, that left-hander that's come over and trying to find a way into this bullpen for the Houston Astros. Outside corner. 1-2 the count on Tony Kemp.
Well, Tony Kemp out of Vanderbilt, that great program they have in Nashville, and Tony drafted a few years ago. He's gotten through the system very quickly. Great offensive numbers, and he can play a few different positions very well.
He's 23 years of age. It's a ground ball to the mound. They'll get 1 at second, and a nice turn there at the bag from the knees. Meyer able to make the play in the double play. That'll erase Tyler Heineman, who had singled, and with 2 outs, back to the top. Jose Altuve will take a 3rd at bat of the game, 3rd plate appearance.
Well, perhaps a rush throw by the pitcher. Biagini threw that to the backhand of Gio Meyer, who recovered nicely, made an adjustment to get off a good throw, knowing that Kemp could get down the line. Had to do it from the knee.
Altuve picked up the loose baseball and threw it at his teammate George Springer. Some of the fun of the spring, right?
Oh, this team's going to have fun during the season, too. And not just on the field, right?
One of the things I felt like as Altuve takes the breaking ball low at the end of my career was, if I could go back and do it again, I had a kind of a list of things I'd like to have done better and different. But among them was have more fun.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of guys say that.
I saw Magic Johnson playing in the NBA, and I thought, you know, there's a lot to what he's doing with that big smile on his face.
Probably made him a better player.
I think it did.
I mean, sometimes you have to fake it to relax. And I think just having more fun is going to lead to a more loose player. And I think your talents can shine through much more easily.
Altuve watching a lot of pitches today, probably by design. He has walked and scored in the first and popped to second in the second inning.
Now, I think you're in the same camp that a lot of players are who aren't naturally gifted, like a Correa or a Springer or Altuve for that matter.
Go easy now.
You're stressed a little bit because you put more pressure on yourself.
Altuve takes a strike. Yeah, I agree. And you know, if you're playing out in a lot of comparisons to playing out in the backyard when you were a kid, and you probably weren't grinding that bat at the time.
Then again, you can also say it's probably a lot more fun to have the talent of Carlos Correa. Right?
Yes, it is more fun. I'm sure of that. Breaking ball taken inside. I don't know how many times you want to take that pitch. Larry Vanover's had a fairly tight and consistent strike zone today.
That is a hammer right there. Be a genie. Look at this. Altuve will follow this right into the glove and then just hold his breath. Former batting champ.
You think if you had taken that pitch, you would have gotten the ball call?
I would have probably been pushed out of the box.
There are differences as the ground ball ends the inning. 4 innings in the book. And the Astros lead at 5-0 over the Toronto Blue Jays.
This is for
Houston Astros scoring 5 times in the first 2 innings as they go to the 5th inning, leading the Blue Jays 5-1. Astros mini plans are on sale now. Pick games in great seat locations with the 15-game flex plan, or choose the best giveaways with the 10-game award series package. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/mini plans to get yours today. That's the way to do it. I think those mini plans, good way to share the wealth with some of your buddies.
A little bit more on the news and notes as we look around the major leagues. Brett Gardner playing his first game of the spring for the Yankees. Obviously, the Astros will see him in New York during that opening series. He'll be lefty versus lefty as Dallas Keuchel goes to the mound in the opener. And Barry Bonds, is he coming back?
50 years old, he might be able to, because he beat all the home run hitters on the backfields at the Marlins camp just yesterday in a home run hitting contest, including Giancarlo Stanton. And apparently there was no camera crews there. That Bonds walked off the field with his arms up in the air, taunting the rest of those guys.
Pitch is line foul. Casey Kochman at the plate. Are you allowed to taunt in spring training backfield action?
Well, when you're the hitting coach and you're Barry Bonds, I think you're allowed to taunt. He's got a pretty good resume, doesn't he?
How far removed is he from his final year of being a player? 6, 7? Little looper's going to drop. No, it's not. Nice reaction. Matt Duffy doing it all on that left side of the infield. He's moving around well, and then on a couple of really tough plays, sharply hit shots to third base, he has started double plays. So it's been a nice day for Mr. Matt Duffy.
Well, may have had to contend with the sun, too, but look at that ball slicing away from him, running that down. He was the only guy over there, so had that fallen, Kochman would have had a chance to maybe go to second base.
8-hitter Gio Meyer stands in. He grounded into the first of those double plays started by Matt Duffy. And you say grounded into, but it was a ball sharply hit that came up on Duffy to his left, and somehow he managed to not only get the glove on it, but hang on and start the double play.
So we've seen 3 really good plays from Matt Duffy at third base. And we've seen that 2-run single he was able to produce. He's got a stolen base.
One of us.
Yeah, did I mention he was my pick to click before the game?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yep.
You must have been talking to some other folks that you were going to work with today. But one of us here in the booth this spring, very impressed early on with defensive skills of Matt Duffy. And so there does seem to be some vindication there. Strike is called. 3-1 the count.
AJ was talking to you, I believe, a couple of days ago. You know, that last month of the season, hey, I put Duffy in there. What's that saying to the rest of my team?
Ball 4 is delivered. A 1-out walk to Meyer brings up the catcher, Josh Tolley.
Because what AJ Hinch was saying was his eyes were telling him that Matt Duffy might be the best option to put out there. The bats that he was seeing, the productivity, the batting practice, all those things. And like you mentioned, the defense, he looks good.
To go with the defense today, the 2 double plays and this nice play. Had a first inning single driving in a pair of runs. So Matt Duffy doing it all today. And we've talked about John Singleton had a big day yesterday. It had been, I think, quite frankly, rather rough on John throughout the spring so far. But
it has, sure.
Had a home run and a double driving in runs for the club yesterday. And you wonder how far did that vault him forward.
Well, mentally, I think it's going to help him a lot.
Pitch is popped up shallow in right field. Springer coming on. And those glasses are gleaming. Jose Altuve has to make the play. I don't know if you can call that routine for Jose Altuve. For anybody else, that's a really tough play.
I don't think I've ever seen any second baseman go back up on pop-ups as well as he does and come up with the baseball. Just fearless going for that ball. Ranges well, but he's so sure-handed.
2 outs, top of the order. Ryan Goins at the plate. What have you seen from Neil Kotz on the spring in his bid to make the club?
Well, I see a guy who can repeat his delivery. You know the track record. He's not overwhelmed with any type of situation. It's his ability to get lefties out, which makes him intriguing.
Runner goes, pitch up and in. Heineman with a quick release and got him. That tag at the bag by Carlos Correa. And the Astros come up with some nice defense in the inning. Through 4.5 innings as you watch this play by Jose Altuve. It's 5-1 Houston.
About Altuve, Springer, Correa.
We're glad you can still hear us. We're working furiously, the guys in the truck. Those of us like Steve Sparks and me here in the booth doing very little, but the other guys working hard to get this back on track for you, so we'll be back as quickly as possible. Bottom of the 5th inning, 5-1 Houston, as George Springer takes a strike.
Biagini, I mean, the fastball looks really good. This pitcher for Toronto came in last inning, and that hook that looked like he froze Altuve. He didn't get the call on that, but his stuff is showing well. 26th rounder back in 2011.
And welcome back. We're glad to have you back and watching what the Astros are doing this afternoon, trying to win their 10th game of the spring. They're 9-5-1. There you see the 2 for 2 on the day for George. The first of those hits, a hot shot back up the middle, just on the left side of the shortstop, but hit so sharply the shortstop couldn't even move. And then the second hit, a high fly ball down the right field side. And there's very little breeze going in that direction today, so it was all George and almost got out right up against the wall.
Tell me what you were like in spring training when you knew you were on the team, Ash, that you were swinging the bat this well as some of these guys in the Astros lineup, and you still had 2 weeks to go in spring training. That's brutal, right?
I said it earlier when we were kind of being posed with that. It was about, come on, let's get this thing going. And furthermore, please don't put me on the bus on one of these long trips coming up. You know, you'd much rather, quite honestly, and maybe a lot of fans don't know the feeling, but rather than get on a bus 2 hours in each direction, sometimes even longer than that, and play a ball game, play part of it, and then get sweaty or whatever back on the bus, it's not exactly the best thing for a guy trying to be ready in 2 weeks from now.
Still a big league uniform.
It is.
You're getting to play baseball, right?
Well, you're right about it.
I would just imagine that Springer, I would say, Correa, Altuve, some of these guys that look locked in can't wait for this thing to start. And probably they may go to A.J. Hinch and say, hey, let's dial it back a little bit. I feel really good. Let's just maybe get 1 or 2 at-bats through the course of some of these games. But that's all I need at this point.
George Springer reaches for a 3rd straight plate appearance, drawing the leadoff walk. It brings up Carlos Correa. I guarantee you, when you start getting a couple of hits, 3 hits in a ball game at this stage of things, you're happy. Everybody wants to get a hit.
Yeah.
Every pitcher wants to strike the guy out or whatever the case may be.
But they don't show up on your numbers.
But you're fearful. You know that you go through cycles, right?
Yeah.
You get hot here, and then you're not so hot, and then whatever the case may be.
Right.
You hate to see that cycle happen when you're hot, when it's not Major League Baseball season.
Is spring training too long?
For me, it was.
Yeah.
But it's about pitchers, I'm told, trying to get their arms strengthened up.
And then when you talk about, well, why don't you just reduce the number of games? Look at all these great facilities you have in the Grapefruit League and Cactus League. There's a reason why they want 15 games here. These are great facilities. Fans love coming down here.
Take a look around at the ballpark today with the Astros and Blue Jays. A couple of teams that I think a lot of the folks around Major League Baseball think could be matching up for the American League Championship game this year.
Yeah.
A lot of folks here. And like you said, the Blue Jays do bring a lot of folks down from Canada.
And a lot of times it's a chance for those teams up north to get out of the cold winter, come down here and watch some baseball. And it's almost a rite of passage. They've done it for years. And it's great for the economy. And it's fun. I've always loved spring training.
Ooh, how about that for a swing? Go ahead and analyze that thing for me.
Well, it's not hard to analyze. All you have to say to a kid right here is do this, if you can. A great load. He's always asking Dave Hutchins, his hitting coach, where were my hands when I was about to swing?
You know what? For most kids, most adults, most Major League players, you may feel in your own head like you swung like that, but not many are going to be quite like that swing. You know, I saw Carlos Correa 2 springs back, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
My first impression was, boy, he looks like A-Rod. spindly, kind of thin, but that tall guy. He's filled out considerably. But I never envisioned he was going to be this home run threat.
Yeah, right now you expect him to hit the ball really hard when he gets his pitch. And he can handle a lot of pitches, a lot more than most guys. But yeah, he's just getting stronger and stronger every year. Works extremely hard.
He's a very focused player.
Yep.
He has fun with it, but if you're watching him, you realize it's all about being ready.
Yeah, there's always a purpose with everything he does.
Even the best strikeout in this game. That's out number 1. Preston Tucker comes to the plate.
I like what I've seen from Preston Tucker in the last week or two. His ability to keep his hands back, recognize some off-speed pitches, and still rifle it.
Right-hander Roberto Hernandez loosening for the Jays in their pen. Well, he saved the Astros early on last year quite a bit. Tucker 0 for 1 on the day.
Remember when Tucker hit his first 2 home runs, late innings against the Detroit Tigers, a big ballpark, against good pitching.
Pinch hitter.
They absolutely got to know who he was right away. He became a threat off the bench for the Astros, a threat when he was playing every day in left field for a while. And he mentioned it, the extra month to the season. That was a big deal to him. And he realized that he got a little tired. And he wanted to do something about that. So I don't know if you remember that first year that you played that extra month, with the minor league season being 5 months, the big league 6. That's a big deal. I mean, it's a time when you try to do a little bit too much when your body gets tired.
This ball's driven to right center field. This is deep at the wall. Preston Tucker has launched one. 2-run bomb here in the 5th inning. That'll extend the lead to 7-1, and Preston Tucker continues to be impressive.
Impressive indeed. Happy St. Patrick's Day. A 2-0 fastball right down the middle of the plate that Tucker put a massive swing on. Short to the baseball. You mentioned, Ash, that backspin that carries so well. He's got great strength and a great base, really strong legs. One of the more balanced hitters you'll see on this Astros team.
Okay, this is quite a day. You've got strong pitching from Michael Feliz. Doesn't figure to be on the club. Matt Duffy has had a whale of a day today, offensively and defensively.
Not guaranteed.
Now Preston Tucker. And so, yeah, what does that do?
It means you've got a very good team.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, you've got a lot of depth. First pitch changeup from Biagini, swing and a miss. Duffy trying to go back to back. He was hunting the fastball.
Here's a number for you on the spring. The Astros, with a couple of home runs today, have out-homered their opponents on the spring 23-8.
That's pretty impressive.
That's probably, for me, maybe as much or more about how good the pitching has been this spring than anything else. See Preston Tucker in that home run swing.
Alan, you talk about keeping the barrel above the baseball. When Tucker does that, boy, that's almost like chopping down through the top of the ball, and that's solid contact. Tino Martinez, you like that comparison?
I do, and I actually saw somebody on Twitter the other day making that comparison.
Okay, he keeps his head back behind that midline. He's able to follow that all the way to the barrel.
He's a strong fella, too.
Yeah.
There's no surprise when he's able to find the fences.
Speaking of finding the fences, 4 times for Marwin this spring.
He's the leader in the clubhouse. Marwin's 0 for 2 today. Looking for that ticket to the party as he takes a strike. You never really had that feeling as a pitcher. I don't know how that slots in, but when you're that guy in the lineup, when your team scores 15 runs and you've got an 0 for 4 going, you want to smile and have fun with your teammates while they're 4 for 4 on the day, and And you want to be that great teammate, but it's a challenge.
Yeah, you're crying inside, right?
Yeah, it can.
You know when it's the worst, Ash? Is on getaway day. And you get on that flight, and everybody's really happy. And you made 2 errors and went 0 for 5 with 4 punch-outs.
The party is on, and you've watched a lot of my videotape, haven't you?
Yeah. It's so miserable.
Right off the end of the bat for Marwin on the change. It's 2-2.
That's why I mentioned that it impresses me so much to see that genuine joy of Springer on those flights.
He's unique in a lot of ways.
He grabs the candy tray every flight, and he ends up passing out the candy to everybody on the flight. That's his ritual.
He becomes the flight attendant at that point. And
he just wants to talk to people, and he can't sit still.
A little bit of a breakout day for the bats today. Just 6 hits. But Brad Penny was off the mark early, walking hitters, and there's a base hit for Marwin. So he does get his ticket punched. 1 for 3 on the day. That'll bring up Jake Marisnick, who also is looking for that ticket to the party.
Couldn't get the glove down quickly enough. That ball was hit hard. Right on the ground, stayed low. As the pitching coach is going to be out to the mound right now to see Biagini. Nobody warming up for Toronto, Ash, and he's going to be out there a little while longer because I don't think Penny went as long as they had hoped.
Yeah, Pete Walker heads on out to the mound, and like you say, nobody throwing, but they're going to use this time taken to get somebody loose. It will once again be Roberto Hernandez. And the thing about a meeting like this is it means you've got one more hitter. So make the most of it.
And it's the second time Hernandez has gotten up, so it won't take him long. And, of course, the Astros got to know Roberto Hernandez last year. What a gentleman he is.
Yes, he is.
Yep. A lot of fun to get to know him. And
yeah, that's one of those scenarios, by the way, with Walker going out to the mound where, as a pitcher, you can't be upset because you know once they come out there and they're not taking you out, you're staying for one more hitter, as opposed to seeing the skip come out and get that guy that's already loose down there and just bring him on in.
You know what every coach wants to do, and every pitcher or player for that matter, is to end these games on a high note.
For every player that they can, right?
Yeah, you know, and Biagini right here, he wants to get out of this inning. In this inning, get Marisnick out and feel good about his outing.
You know, I think as fans, as the hot shot goes on 2 hops to short, they'll get the force at second, and we'll hold that thought as the Astros put 2 more on the board. Big home run in the inning. Preston Tucker to right center field. It's 7-1 Houston.
Welcome back to Osceola County Stadium. 7-1. The Astros lead the Blue Jays in the 6th. MLB TV Premium is back with a new low price for 2016. Watch every out-of-market game for every team live in True HD on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Ash.
Thanks, Julia. How are things down in the dugout, Julia? I hope you can still hear me, but can you sense a little bit of party atmosphere happening again?
Party atmosphere?
Yeah.
I think everyone's trying to stand by the fans so they can get cool right now.
So it's more about temperature than just enjoyment, huh?
They're warm, yeah. You can definitely tell that they're loose, though. That has not changed with this team.
From what I can tell, you are nowhere near the fans. Stay loose. 7-1 Houston, 6th inning. Neil Cott's still on to work it. And the top of the order for Toronto, Brian Goins. Rams one to center field. Defensive changes, you'll see George Springer making the play in center. Moving into right field is John Kemmer, as Jake Marisnick is done with his day. Tyler White is positioned at first base. That probably means that Altuve, Correa are the regular guys that are looking, along with Springer, to get one more at bat today.
Yeah, I think so, and probably not traveling tomorrow, right?
Yeah, you would think so. And again, it is part of that stay off the bus thing. That sometimes you have to travel in the spring, but when you don't, it's really nice when the skip says stay back, get your work in, work hard, and accomplish what needs to be accomplished today without having to ride the bus for hours.
Yeah, it becomes more of a 3-hour day compared to an 8 or 9 hour day.
But you may get more work in that 3-hour day than otherwise.
Yeah, you got a chance to lift weights a little harder. That type of thing.
One out in the 6th. Kotz works it from the stretch.
It's like Colin Moran taking over for Matt Duffy at third base. So Duffy done with his day. What a great day for him.
Man.
Both sides of the ball, right?
Okay, we talked about John Singleton and maybe strides forward yesterday. Can that be said for Matt Duffy today?
Or we're seeing some counter punches.
Look, this is an interesting day in numerous respects for the team, but Marwin Gonzalez got the start at first base. And we should see some of that this year. We don't know how it's all going to play out, but if it does happen, you have to have another infielder that can man some positions if needed, right? Ground ball to first base. That's handled by Tyler White, his first play of the game. Second out of the inning. Does that make Matt Duffy kind of that more viable guy to be on the roster than anybody else? A.J. Hinch going out to the mound. So Neil Kotz goes out to get a couple of outs in the inning. As now the Astros turn to the bullpen once again. They'll bring in Jordan Jankowski. And he'll get his warm-up tosses in. But, you know, it does make me wonder what the makeup is going to be based on what the Astros need come opening day.
Well, it makes it much easier for A.J. Hinch in the fact that Marwin Gonzalez, who can play first, is a switch hitter. So if you go a platoon route, you can pick either a righty or a lefty to platoon with him. So whether it's Duffy, White, or John Singleton remains to be seen.
Warm-up pitches tossed. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is for the doubters.
A couple of pitches have been tossed, both strikes from Jordan Jankowski. He's working with 2 outs, bases empty to the 3-hitter for Toronto, Junior Lake. Blake has doubled in 2 at-bats.
Jankowski is going to be a major league pitcher. This guy can come in and fill it up with a few different pitches. 77 strikeouts in 62 and a third innings last year in AAA. He's just a bulldog. He is going to challenge you. Does a good job every step of the way for him. He's impressed. That hard fastball gets ahead in the count and gets you uncomfortable.
We've mentioned that the Astros are part of a split squad effort today. The rest of the guys playing the Atlanta Braves in their home yard, not far away from here. And that group of Astros trailing 3-2. The Astros, in fact, in that ball game have only a couple of hits. Danny Worth has one of those, a home run. His second on the spring, one of the guys trying to be an infielder for the Astros.
Not known for his bat, but he swung the bat well this spring, and evident, very evident, is his defensive prowess.
Well, he's slick in the infield. Kind of a hanging slider, but gets the strikeout. That does it. A 1-2-3 6th inning. So the Astros continuing to sail here this afternoon with that 7-1 lead.
Sports, where Astros lead the Blue Jays 7-1, and I'm joined now by Jake Marisnick, whose day is done after getting a few innings of work in this afternoon. You've been traveling a lot too, so it's probably good to play a home game here every once in a while, right?
Yeah, I joke around with Hinch all the time, and that's going to be messed up when I'm in the lineup at home. I played like 3 home games, so.
It's good to see out here at the home field. And you don't have a lot left. We're down to just a couple weeks before you guys head back to Houston. How are you feeling at this point of spring training at the plate and as far as defensively?
Feeling good. You know, it's a big part of it's timing, and I've been working on that a lot and working on just cleaning things up. And this is a point where you just got to grind through some things you're working on and let them kind of sink in. And I'm pretty excited for the year.
I've heard dog days of spring. We always hear that for the summer, but we are at that middle point of March. Take us through a typical day of spring training for you. What time do you get up? What time do you go to bed? What's it like?
For me, I'm up at about 6. I'm at the park around 6:45, and then go out to the cage first, hit with Hudgens a little bit, hit with him for probably about half an hour, and then come in, get breakfast, and then do some stuff in the weight room, whether it be get loose or work out. And then we have our meeting before, kind of talk about what we're going over that day, and then go out and go through the day, go through BP and cuts and relays and all the different team stuff, and then come in, get ready, and come out for the game.
That's all before a game starts.
Yeah, that all happens before the game, so we're up early. Yeah, it's a long days, but it's fun.
Just at this point, what are you working on maybe with Hudge and some of the other coaching staff? What are some things that you're trying to key in on right now?
A big thing is getting started early and getting the timing down, and bringing my leg up a little higher. And right now it's been feeling better. Every day it's feeling better, and it's going to take good down ball. It's been feeling good, and then these are bats are what they're for, getting used to something.
This outfield's so much fun to watch, not only because of what your talent shows us, but the relationship that you guys have with each other. Are you excited to get out there and get the season started and see what you guys can do this year?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys caught it in that first inning when I called George off. He always give me some looks out there. So we definitely have fun and have that relationship out there. So it makes it fun to play, and the rest of the team is awesome too. You got the guys in the infield and the pitchers are all. The way we gel it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think we spoke to George Springer about the trip to Dinosaur World. What else have you guys been doing?
Who knows? We got those RC boats that we take out in the pond. We both broke them already within the first week. Every time we go out, the whole clubhouse laughs because we come in without the boats. And yeah, so we come in without a boat, and they're all asking, "Oh man, are you guys ever going to bring them both in at the same time?" Springer got his stuck in a tree, like out of water in a tree. So that's how that's been going.
You're obviously having a good time. Just moving forward, how are you excited for the season to start with the team that you have coming off of what you did last year at this point? I mean, you got to be ready to get going, right?
Yeah, I think we're all kind of ready to get going. We at this point last year, we were kind of getting to know each other. And now, I mean, we're going in this year knowing each other, knowing what everybody does, how much fun everybody wants to have. And I think, I mean, the sky's the limit for this team with how well we gel.
Thank you so much. Jake Marisnick joining us. I know you got to get out of here. You've probably had a really long day, like you mentioned earlier, guys. Up to you. Did you guys get up at 6 and get here by 6:45?
Not even close.
Oh, okay.
You can tell Jake that at 6 o'clock we were still deep in the Z's at that point. Yeah. But yeah, these guys work awfully hard, and you know, when you talk to older ball players, guys who played previously, well, let's put it that way, the question comes up sometimes, Mr. Sparks, that you wonder, do the guys in today's game work too hard at times?
You know what I think that happens with guys that are a little bit younger like Jake is there's priority timing with your hitting coach. So I think some of the guys that have been around a little bit longer can get here later because they can go right in to see Dave Hudgens and work on stuff. But when you're younger, you got to get here a little earlier to get that priority time, right?
Well, what was it, 62, 63 guys in Major League camp to start things this year. It's being pared down now as we speak. And
we're at 51 right now.
51, so... And, you know, you and I were talking to A.J. Hinch just a couple of days ago, maybe yesterday, and talking about this time of the camp. He would love to actually kind of pare it down probably more, but it's reality. You've got guys that need to be seen.
And when you have split squad games, you've got to field those teams, right? So there'll probably in the next couple of days be fewer and fewer guys in camp.
Today is the final split squad of the spring as Tony Kemp takes a strike, flips the bat away. By the way, it's Roberto Hernandez, former Astro, on the hill right now. Tyler Heineman started the inning, hit a ball into left center field, and it wound up dropping between the left fielder Lake and the new center fielder Mesa, Melky Mesa, and a double was awarded. So Tyler Heineman is 2 for 3 on his day.
Alan, you remember how you knew when there were going to be more cuts in spring training?
Well, a variety of ways. I used to, if I saw the clubhouse guy coming around, I'd leave so he couldn't find me to send me into the skip.
Our thing was we knew they started later on in spring training. They start giving you meal money for 3 days or 4 days or 2 days. And you know at the end of that, there's going to be more cuts because they don't want to give guys who are going down to the minor league side extra day of major league meal money.
I'm not sure we even got meal money back in spring training in those days. Matt Dominguez leans in and makes a nice play on the pop-up hit by Tony Kemp. And so, out number 1 here in the 6th.
Well, we figured this out when I was in the minor leagues, and I was in the minor leagues forever, but the meal money would go away as we watch Matt Dominguez range. Watch the way he looks down. His feet, he can feel his feet on the warning track, so he knows he's close before he reaches in. That's the way you do it. He's so good defensively. But in the minor leagues, we knew when the meal money was out. So this is back before cell phones. We used to call the airports and call all different airlines and say, hey, does Steve Sparks have an airline?
Oh, that's terrible. Line shot, diving grab, and that'll turn into a double play. A heck of a play by Christian Lopes, who just came on defensively for the Blue Jays. So only 3 hitters come to the plate as Tyler Heineman, who had is doubled up. Still 7-1 Houston.
For their 10th win in spring training as they lead the Blue Jays 7-1. We're in the top of the 7th 2016 single game Astros tickets. They're on sale now. Catch amazing games like the home opener against the Kansas City Royals and premier matchups with the Cubs, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and those Texas Rangers. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
We're in the 7th inning now, as Chris Colabello, going all the way at the DH spot for the Blue Jays, takes a big hat, comes up empty. It is still Jordan Jankowski on the hill. A couple of changes defensively. Alex Bregman is at shortstop. Joe Sclafani moves in at second base. So Jose Altuve stayed around for 4 plate appearances and raked one, as one is raked down the left field line. Colabello has himself a double. He's 1 for 3 on the day.
Well, elevated enough where he was able to whip it down the line. Colabello, as we mentioned earlier, an established big leaguer to this point. Tried to run it in on his hands, didn't get it all the way in there, so he'll have to contend with a little traffic on the bases early on.
Colabello can hit. There's no question about that now.
Yep.
But again, back on Altuve quickly. He did sting it for that out that turned into the double play. So he winds up 0 for 3 on his day. Picked up a walk and scored a run. And I would imagine that's the last we'll see of Altuve today.
You never know with him, though, do you? I mean,
I
saw him go to the clubhouse, so you're right. But he begs for more at-bats every day.
I can imagine on a day like today, he might say to AJ, I want one more. And
Yeah.
AJ will say, you're not getting it. Go ahead to the cage.
Beat it.
Backdoor effort on the slider.
I like the mound presence of Jankowski. Saw him last year in spring training, too. He's not afraid of anybody. Sometimes it's just a matter of the way the guy kind of bows his shoulders. You can see he's very well put together. Very hard worker. The intensity you see on his face, and he's got good stuff. Fastball slider combination are both good.
Popped up near second base. That's Bregman, the shortstop, with the play. Battles that sun well, and probably didn't utilize the glasses on the hat very well. But no need.
And we mentioned Jankowski, certainly not afraid, and certainly not afraid to come inside. Look at the location of this pitch. Brown wants to extend his arms, but he's got no chance with that fastball location. That weak pop-up.
1 out for Matt Dominguez. 0 for 2. Matt grounded into one of those double plays. Started tremendously by Matt Duffy down at third base. Just a hot shot. Backhand side, and Matt handled it easily as can be.
How about the job Heineman's done behind the plate today, handling his 4th pitcher now? He's done a nice job.
He's also got the 2 hits to go with the work behind the plate, and there you go, right on cue. A beautiful block on a pitch well outside in the dirt.
What's the key to good range, getting out there on that slider? That was well off the plate.
You know, I actually heard you talk about it the other day. I think it was on the air, but about putting the weight on the opposite leg. If you've got a right-hand pitcher on the mound and you've called slider, curveball, whatever, and it's moving to your right as a catcher, you want a little load up on your left side so you can push off. And that'll get you going. I thought that was very insightful on your part.
Now, what about tipping off the other team? If you put too much weight there, are you letting them know that you're going outside?
You know, if you've got 55% of your weight on your left leg,
that's enough.
I would contend that you're not showing anybody anything.
Yeah. So that's enough. Just a little bit of weight so you can push off.
Absolutely. Just have that edge to be able to push in that direction.
I was talking to A.J. Hinch about some of the nuances of a catcher catching it on the inside corner to a righty here.
With that fastball also that might be running back toward the hitter a little bit. Yeah.
He said he was taught about thumb position. He liked that catcher to have his thumb pointed up toward the air to be able to handle that pitch better.
And I guess what he's talking about, a lot of catchers will turn the hand back. So how do you say it? For me, it was about trying to get the fingers around the baseball and not have the fingers laid back. You lay the fingers back, and you can think of it at a pitcher or whatever. If you have the glove laid back, a lot of balls will kind of hit off the end of the glove and go on by.
Yeah.
If you turn the glove around and you're willing to take it on the hand, that's how, to me, was the best way to keep that ball handled on the left side of the catcher.
Present a good-looking pitch to the umpire, too, right?
That's what you're always hoping for. I guess secondarily, number one, make sure you handle the pitch. But when you see Major League catchers miss pitches, oftentimes it'll be on that left side, the glove side.
Yeah.
Especially with a left-hand pitcher who's throwing a cutter in that direction. You have to try to corral it without laying the hand back too much.
It was amazing as a pitcher how much the body language of a catcher kind of pumped me up. When I had a guy with energy back there, it really did something for me.
No kidding. So you like that guy that was fiery and
at least
fired it back to the mound, right?
Well, no, not so much that, but it's just diligent. He worked hard on blocking the balls,
yes.
And not just kind of lobbing it back to you like he's kind of put up with you throwing pitches out of the strike zone. That he's working alongside of you, and that helped me.
Casey Kochman has worked it all the way at first base. He is singled and popped out. The Astros have turned 2 double plays, both started by Matt Duffy. This is one of those scenarios that A.J. Hinch was talking about with the shift on left-hand hitter, and your shortstop has to be close enough to the bag at second that he can get back and start a double play if you get that ground ball on the right side.
And if he feels like he has enough time, you probably round it a little bit, don't you, so you can get something on that throw?
Yes.
Yeah. Probably present a little bigger target for that second baseman too.
I think you played multiple positions.
But they have to work on these things. Everybody's doing it. And the Astros, they were ahead of a lot of teams. They were very aggressive with these shifts early on, and they started it in the minor leagues so guys would be used to it early.
Casey Kochman first came to the big leagues in 2004 with the Angels.
Yeah.
They were the Anaheim Angels then.
His dad, Tom, was a longtime minor league coach in that organization.
Played with the Atlanta Braves, Boston Red Sox, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Cleveland, Miami. So he's bounced around. And he's also had success with the bat. But I think maybe one of the complaints might be, the only thing I can think of is that he's not a home run hitter. He's a corner infielder, kind of that singles hitter.
Yep, that was it. I mean, that was the Dave Magadan type of thing, where a great hitter, a good average hitter, great looking swing, but just didn't have that long ball stroke.
Slider sweeps into the hands and yank foul.
It's funny, you see a lot of those guys hit for high average, and a couple of guys come to mind, Wade Boggs and Ichiro, a couple of guys that could put on a show during batting practice if they wanted to. If they wanted to go outside of that normal stroke and hit home runs, they could have done it.
Hit to center field. Springer makes the play. Runners do not tag up. Second out of the inning. It is Gio Meyer coming to the plate. Grounded into a double play and then drew a walk and then was caught stealing. What a quick release and throw by Tyler Heineman to get him, and a very nice tag by Carlos Correa. Meyer just never quite put up the numbers in the Astros system to find his way back to the big leagues. George Springer making the play.
Check out this play. Ball right at you. Center fielders will tell you that's the toughest one, depth perception wise. So what a center fielder will do, he'll set the bill of his cap right at the top of where he may take a back step.
You also see some guys that'll get down, kind of bend the knees
and try to get the eyes down a little bit under that baseball.
Yeah, so if it's lifted a little bit, they're taught to take that little back step first. You'll see, oh, this guy misread it. No, that's the way they're taught. That way they can still push off and go forward if they have to.
Just away.
Gary Pettis, an unbelievable outfielder, coach for this Astros team. Those outfielders for the Astros, it's no accident they're so good. They've been taught well, and they rave about their outfield coach, Gary Pettis. Gold Glover himself.
Asher Wojciechowski now loosening in the Astros pen.
Orbit talking to Santa. Taking a break from the North Pole.
Orbit not too proud to beg, apparently. Hot shot. That's a fair ball. And down that left field corner. Colabello coming to the plate. Blue Jays will get 1 run out of this double.
Well, Gio Meyer, Jordan Jankowski, teammates. They were both hooks in Corpus Christi. Gio Meyer due to look for that slider at some point. Not a bad pitch. Pretty good location. Just went down there and got it.
Matt Dominguez, that trail runner moving into third base, and it tells you a lot about Matt's speed with 2 outs and not being able to score from first base on that ball. Probably not what any team would like to see. Check swing hit into the Astros dugout.
Well, a lot of backup catchers as we see Josh Tolley come to the plate. Can't count on one day out of every 5 that he knows he's going to catch, but Tolley does.
Knuckleball catcher.
Yeah. R.A. Dickey.
Do you have your one guy that typically was out there for you on the Tigers, for example?
You know, some guys would go in spurts. I had Benji Molina with the Angels. I had a few different guys along the way. Matt Wahlbeck comes to mind. But more than anything, guys would get tired of me and beg out. Felt like the games were too long.
Get down the right field side. This is going to plate a pair. And the Blue Jays are trying to get back in this game. It'll be a double for Tolley. Matt Dominguez and Gio Meyer scoring. And it's now 7-4. The Astros still lead it, but getting much closer.
It appeared to be a changeup as Tolley. Nope, that was a fastball. Missed his location a little bit right down the middle for Tolley, and he was able to whip it down the line. Good pull hitter. The game has become interesting now. Both teams with 8 hits. It's only a 3-run margin now.
Top of the order.
Got a rowdy Blue Jay group now. Starting to chant for their team. Boy, they filled it up last year, didn't they? The Rogers Center, that was rocking that last 2 months.
When they get winning up there, they'll pack that place in a big stadium. Yeah, if there were any questions about what part of this crowd here today might have been Blue Jay fans, I think it's been answered now. And they are hanging around.
Yeah, they're boisterous.
Let's get those Astros fans here in the yard. They're not going to let off the pedal either.
No.
Inside corner, it's 1-2.
You know, Alan, we've seen a couple different second basemen for the Blue Jays today. One guy we weren't going to see, and the Blue Jays aren't going to see for the first at least month of the season, is Devin Travis, who got off to such a great start last year, but he's going to miss a little while early on in camp. And they can't wait for him to get back.
Good swing on the foul ball. It's Christian Lopes at the plate. Got him looking on the outside edge. So Jankowski finally gets it done, but not before the Jays put 3 on the board. Get a little closer here as the Astros lead it by 3. Bottom of the 7th inning. Blue Jays trying to make a game out of this one. It's now 7-4. The Astros had a 7-1 lead. George Springer has managed to hang around long enough to go to the plate for the 4th time. And he's been quite successful. He's singled, tripled, walked, scored 3 runs. He will start things here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2, 3, 4 spots. Alex Bregman waiting on deck. He's in the Carlos Correa spot.
And a few of these guys know this pitcher on the mound, so Springer well aware of what to look for with their former teammate on the hill.
So I wonder in the case of George Springer if this is about seeing pitches, just trying to feel like you're seeing the ball well, and as he takes strike 1, kind of get that impression. Swinging early in the count early on.
It reminds me of hearing guys talk every once in a while in spring training. They want to see everything. They want to see a guy throw sidearm. They want to see 3/4. They want to see 95 miles per hour. They want to see everything in spring training.
I've known a few, including myself, that sidearm thing, at least if it's somebody throwing from the same side you're swinging from, might be stretching the limits a bit. Ground ball goes foul. 2-2 the count on George Springer here in the 7th inning. Sparky, Blue Jays have a new third baseman, don't they?
I believe they do. You want me to pronounce that
Let's
for
see,
you?
it's Leblebijian.
Yep.
Leblebijian.
I've always called him Lebo, so that's Jason Lebo.
Okay.
Actually, I've never heard of him. It's a big name, though.
You know, it's bad when they give you a pronunciation guide and you can't pronounce that.
Yeah, it's something phonetic written out, and it's still tough.
So here's the spelling on the name. Leblebijian, as George Springer is down on strikes, and thanks for that 4th at bat of the afternoon.
I don't think he was expecting the fastball. Got one low and in. Tried to go down to the back knee to get under it. But on that particular pitch, Roberto Hernandez just beat him to the spot.
Alex Bregman now in his first AB of the afternoon. Took over for Carlos Correa, who walked and scored in the 1st, homered and drove in a pair in the 2nd inning, and then popped out. So Carlos Correa had a typical Carlos Correa afternoon here.
If you haven't seen the Astros yet this spring, this is their 1st rounder from last year. Was sent back down to minor league camp about 8 days ago, but it's come up on occasion to continue to play against the best competition. We saw him this morning playing in the minor league.
Get some at-bats over there, yeah.
Yeah.
You have impressions that have struck you early in the camp?
I like the swing. I like the short, compact swing from him.
Hits it in the air to right field. And out number 2. Dominic Brown out there.
And I like the makeup of Bregman. Of course, came from that big program at LSU, but you can tell he knows exactly how to play this game. He goes up there with a plan.
That is no longer Brown in right field. That's Josh Almonte. Two outs. Preston Tucker has had a day. Batting in that 4 spot and going all the way. He walked and drove in a run in the first inning, lined out sharply in the second, and then hit a 2-run home run coming in the 5th inning. And it was legit out to right center field.
You can tell Preston feels very comfortable at the plate right now, seeing the ball right out of the hand. No extra motion or shoulder flinching, any of that stuff. He's seeing it, weighting it, and putting his best swing on it. Has some crazy movement to that side of the plate, Roberto Hernandez. That's what he's known for, is movement on the fastball. Look at where this starts and look at the reaction. That pitch came back to the inside corner, maybe a hair high, but that was pretty close.
That's a pitch that certainly could be called. It's been tight again for Larry Vanover this afternoon. Not sure if by design or otherwise. Ball hit fairly sharply, but Tucker thrown out. That'll do it. A 1-2-3 7th inning for Houston. Through 7-4 Astros.
How fast is it?
In Kissimmee, it's 7-4 Astros over the Blue Jays. Just a couple weeks left of spring training. The back end of the rotation was a question coming in. 6 guys for 5 spots. Well, with Lance McCullers, his throwing program being pushed back a bit, won't be ready for opening day. So these 5 are the ones you're looking at to fill out that starting rotation to start 2016. Doug Fister, the new guy, and there we've seen the others. But the rotation does look a lot different without McCullers in there, the guy who has the higher velocity, if you will, when you look at the starting rotation. Guys, how do you see this shaping up? This is, of course, not in any particular order. We know Dallas Keuchel will get the ball on that opening day, but A.J. Hinch has yet to determine who goes in the days following.
Thanks, Julia. Steve and I were talking about that before the game, just off camera. It may come down to how A.J. Hinch feels it best matches up against the Yankees in those first 3 games. Also the fact that the Brewers are coming up, and how does that series tend to match up. So a decision yet to be made, but I will say this, very disappointed, very, what's the word? Disappointed, I guess, that Lance McCullers is unable to make that first round with the Astros.
Yeah, it's exciting to think what his future holds for this team. We saw a guy that can dominate really good hitting teams. And when you're able to put him in a rotation and get that hopefully 30, 35 times, You think you have an advantage against anybody, don't you?
You know, I don't know if I really saw him what I would call off last year. He had a game where he got beat around in Texas, but that happens. Even Dallas Keuchel had a game where he was beat around in Arlington.
Same series.
But to me, Lance McCullers gives you that A game time after time.
Yeah. I mean, that's just outstuffing the other team a lot of times. He doesn't have to be that pinpoint with his control. And when he is pinpoint with his control, talking about a guy who may shut you out.
There's a guy that can use some of that pinpoint control. Asher Wojciechowski working now in the 8th inning.
He's had a nice spring, Asher. Had a great spring last year, breaking into the rotation for Houston to start the season. But he looks good. Four-seamer up in the zone has looked good as he overthrew that one and missed on 3-1.
Walking Melky Mesa in his first plate appearance of the afternoon.
But the first two in the rotation for the Astros, that's set. That's Keuchel and McHugh. It's the third game matchup I think you're referring to, Alan.
Yep.
You know, who matches up best with that Yankees team, and then go from there.
And the guys have had good springs. You know, and it really doesn't matter who you want to point to in that final three in the rotation. Mike Fiers looked really good when I've seen him. Scott Feldman is throwing the ball well.
So is Pfister. Yep.
Pfister looking like he's ready to prove some people maybe wrong in terms of thinking he could have been done after a down year last year.
Tyler Heineman's going to go out to the mound to have a word with Asher just to make sure he's on point. Right now we're seeing him fly open toward first base just a little bit. So Heineman probably just reminding him to keep things more directional, particularly that front arm, that lead arm. That's your direction arm. Make sure it's driving right down toward the catcher's mitt. And that's what A.J. Hinch likes to see. Have that catcher go out there and take control before things get out of hand.
What would you think if, in an effort to speed things up a bit, Major League Baseball said anytime a catcher or infielder goes to the mound, it's going to count as a visit? Or some version of that?
Yeah. Well, what's the other version? I think that's a little drastic.
That's pretty strong.
Yep. But if there's a version of it, I'm all for it. Because I think that does get excessive from time to time.
Yeah. So maybe you grant a catcher 2 visits, and then you start counting when he goes out there
I'm in.
As a visit.
I'm in.
Because that would cut down on – some guys are known for just going out there time and time again. And so give him 2.
You know what drives me crazy is when a relief pitcher comes in, and anytime a runner during the course of his outing gets to second base, he's got to go back out there again and see what sequence they want to use.
Yep.
They should have done that earlier.
You know, and you allegedly worked that out as you come out of spring training. A second straight walk now issued by Asher Wojciechowski. So the Blue Jays are down just 3 runs here in the 8th inning.
Well, it's never going to come down to the stuff for Wojciechowski. It's just working up and down with this fastball, and he can do that. But side to side from time to time is what hurts him. At bat right now, Wilkin Castillo.
Castillo in that DH role now. Chris Colabello went 1 for 3 with a double.
So looking for a ball on the ground. Best way to do that, obviously, is keep it low.
Wojciechowski falls behind again.
I like the theory when you're trying to get a ground ball, lower and slower is better than higher and harder. I think some guys overthrow in situations like this. If you take a little bit off 2 miles per hour, sometimes that's even better for that sinking action.
Did you apply that to the knuckleball as well?
I was just trying to throw it in the area code.
And then let it do its nasty thing, huh?
Yeah, just throw it right at the catcher's mask.
Ball and a strike. And now 1-2.
There you go.
Bojo comes with the slider.
There you go. Those last 2. Good tempo. He's allowing his arm to catch up with his body.
I'd love to know what you watch for when you're watching pitchers, and I know you watch diligently. Breaking ball hit in the air to right field, not deep. As coming on to make the play is John Kemmer. Runners will hold on out number 1.
Good strong throw in from right field by Kemmer, making sure he hit that cutoff man. And the one thing I look for a lot of times, and guys struggle with this more than anything else, whether you're 6 years old or in the major leagues like Wojciechowski, is their body gets ahead of their arm. And a lot of times it comes from overthrowing or trying to get there too quick, and adrenaline plays a big part in that. So how do you allow your arm to catch up with your body? It's by breaking your hands a little earlier. Get that ball out of your glove before your body goes forward.
You mentioned us watching some guys on the backfield this morning, and we were talking then about how Dallas Keuchel takes the ball in hand out of the glove rather early.
He's got a little trick.
Yeah, it is unusual. There aren't many guys that do what he does.
So he holds the ball in his hand even though it's inside of his glove. The ball's not touching the leather. He is holding that in his hands, and that's one of his tricks to get the ball out early.
Nice job again by Heineman, and he has been good behind the plate this afternoon.
And this is our first real extensive look at Tyler Heineman behind the plate. And I was anxious to hear how you assess what he was able to do defensively. So you liked what you've seen.
You get lost sometimes when a guy is good behind the plate because balls and strikes, you tend to be looking at what the pitcher's doing and seeing infielders moving around. And so you kind of lose that catcher. That's a good sign when you forget what that guy's doing. But when he's been noticed today, he's been really good on pitches in the dirt to his right. Closing off the right shoulder. Getting there quickly, full commitment.
Yeah, protect that 90 feet, right?
And I haven't seen him fail on one today. Going through on the breaking ball. That slider effective right now for Wojo.
Well, another good crowd on hand, 5,191. Look at this slider. Good break, downward action. Tried to check on that swing, but it didn't go up from his hand first, and that's the key on a good breaking ball. Came out of his hand looking like a fastball.
We saw Jason Worth with the Washington Nationals the other day. They have a rough day, but that was kind of one of those Jason Worth swings where he cuts it off quickly and hits one about 450 feet. Ground ball is going to find the hole up the middle, and a run will score, making it 7-5. Runners stopping at first and second, and still one out here in the 8th inning.
Good plate appearance by Almonte. Making an adjustment on that breaking pitch. That time shortened up the swing and sent it up the middle.
So it is Jason Leblabejian, excuse me, batting for Matt Dominguez now.
Wind blowing out toward right center field, but not a stiff wind by any means.
Slider kind of becoming the go-to pitch right now for Wojciechowski.
Appears he has a better feel for that pitch, at least the throw for strikes. Right now, the fastball spraying that one around a little bit.
We've seen that at times for Colin McHugh as well, where he loses feel on the fastball. This one's hit high and deep down the left field side, but foul down the line.
Sometimes with Asher, I feel like the excessive head movement. Look at his head. See him jerk that head? I think that changes his release point and makes it tough to spot it on both sides of the plate.
You know, that makes me wonder. Didn't Bob Gibson used to do something like that?
Well, he used to fall off toward first base, but the
you
head slow it down. Yeah, when he released that ball, his head was right on that catcher's glove.
It's been a long time ago.
He certainly spun off toward first base.
So I will point out once again a nice job on that slider in the dirt by Tyler Heineman, keeping that double play in effect. That's a real nice commitment. Glove could stay down a bit more if you were trying to be nitpicky, but a real nice job. And a strikeout recorded by Wojciechowski. Second out of the inning.
Very good pitch right there. Excellent location. Big out for the Astros, up by 2 still.
So 2 outs, runner still at first and second. McCurry coming to the plate. Oh, excuse me, that's McCurry loosening in the pen for the Astros.
That's a good looking pitch right there. That's what you're looking for, a quality pitch to get ahead in the count.
Casey Kochman's still at the plate. So he goes the distance at first base for these Toronto Blue Jays, who have now out-hit the Astros 9-8. Top scoring team in all of Major League Baseball a year ago.
Yeah.
Top home run hitting team.
Did you see Edwin Encarnacion's out with an oblique injury right now?
Saw that, and that hurts because when he's a part of things, along with Bautista and Donaldson, they are just dynamite. Into the gap in left center field. Tony Kemp closes nicely and makes the running grab. That'll do it for Toronto. They get a run, tightening up the ball game 7-5 through 7.5.
The sun comes up and the sun goes down.
As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, Jack in the Box takes us inside the box score as we debate the impact of swings and misses. Everybody knows the Astros strike out a bunch, and that means a lot of swings and misses. Chicago Cubs even did so more last year, as you can see with the numbers there. You see Baltimore, Seattle, and the Tampa Bay Rays, teams that swing and miss a lot. But then you look at the records. How impactful are the swings and misses, or how impactful is it to not miss? The Kansas City Royals were best in that regard, and they won the World Series. And yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to look at that.
I think your ballpark and your roster construction has to go well with your ballpark. The Kansas City Royals have a very big field, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to have a lot of swing and miss guys. So they've played it just right. Astros and Cubs, hey, they scored a lot of runs, and the Cubs, they won 97 times last year. So there's ways to work around this. And I think the Astros have an
And I think these two teams right here, are managed as you can do in the major leagues.
Well, I think these days they have to be willing to change. It can't be the old school approach all the time with this different generation. You just have to face it. It's a little bit different now. And to squelch people's personalities, I think, becomes a problem.
Can you say my way or the highway anymore?
I don't think you can. I think guys are wired a little differently now. Astros are in for a good long season. A lot of these folks getting out here to get a heads up, a head start to check this team out before it gets for real in a couple of weeks.
Another chopper to second base. Lopes makes the play. 2 outs on ground balls to second base. And now Tyler White will make his first plate appearance.
How about the spring for Tyler White, Ash?
He's impressed. I heard you say something that I feel. He's just a good hitter. Mm-hmm. He's maybe not loaded with as much power as A.J. Reed or some of the guys you might want to name, especially talking about first base. He's just a pure hitter.
Just hits the ball hard wherever it is. Now, the stroke doesn't look like it's going to line up for a ton of home runs, but it's hard hit balls into the gaps. Every once in a while, he'll get under one and send one out. We're talking about a lot of extra base hits out of this bat.
Well, you could see the big swing right there.
It's controlled, though, right?
Yeah, it is. Look, if you put up a track record that says you're going to not only hit for batting average, but your on-base percentage is consistently high. Hasn't been a huge home run guy, but he drives in runs.
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of guy a lot of managers would say, over here, I'll take him.
Well, it's interesting the way the Astros found him. Somebody in the front office said, hey, we're getting to the latter stages of this draft. You may want to take a look at this guy that we see at Western Kentucky, who has about twice as many walks as strikeouts. And they did. They took a look at him, and they took him, I believe, in round 33.
I wonder what were the other stats associated? Now, I know that
the extra base hit is exactly what you've seen all through the minors.
So, you know, it's convenient maybe
look
to
at
say
look at those numbers,
strikeouts
Ash.
and walks that you're looking at, but he's had some other terrific numbers, as you saw.
He can crush.
Boy, that pitch is apparently high. See Hutchinson reacting like, where was it? But it's been that way all day. I don't personally believe that umpires serve the game well by keeping that strike zone below the belt. I'd like to see the guys forced to swing the bat on what rule book wise have long been strikes.
Well, it always strikes me as funny for a catcher to catch it face mask high. And
right
when you
at the
look
chin.
at that, I mean, that's where you'd want it on a tee. I mean, that's where you think that you can really do some damage. And for guys to take that and expect that to be called a ball, it's kind of silly.
So Tyler White does what he does. He draws the walk. Comes with 2 outs. Tyler Heineman, Iron Man behind the dish. A couple of hits on the day. 2 for 3, a single and a double.
Big day for Tyler. This is showing himself well here.
Ball and a strike.
You know what I like to see in a pitcher? Watch Chad Jenkins. There's not an ounce of overthrowing right here. That's when you know a guy's usually going to have pretty good command. He can repeat his delivery this way right here.
Keeps that head pretty steady.
Yeah.
At and through the delivery.
I bet his effort level is about 85–90% max. Lets that arm catch up with his body.
He's also, I don't know where he is at this stage of his career, but a guy that has thrown hard in the past. I believe he's had a Tommy John surgery. shot off the glove, and on that first base side, Heineman has his third knock of the afternoon, and bluffing at second base, holding on Tyler White, and wisely so, as Kochman made a nice play throwing to third.
And Kochman, a very good glove man at first base, just got handcuffed on this one. This is a tough one. He's shuffling off the bag after holding the runner on. It goes to his left and off his wrist because the ball was hit so hard by Heineman, who picks up his third hit of the ball game.
So Heineman with 2 singles and a double, and he's done a nice job behind the plate. Tony Kemp has gone all the way 0 for 3 and has grounded into a double play. That started by the pitcher, a 1-6-3.
So if you're in the on-deck circle and you see this sinker ball at the plate, you know most of those pitches, if you're left-handed, are working away from you. Are you looking out there right here if you're Kemp?
Yeah, maybe so. And I wonder what is in his mind. It hasn't been a big offensive camp for him. He got that pitch away right there. Had a good swing. A lot of batting practices talk about where you want to focus in the strike zone. And I'm sure a lot of that for Tony Kemp is go ahead and use what you have. Your wheels are the big asset. Drive it the other way if you can. Get on the ground to short. Step in on the bag just ahead of the sliding runner, and that'll do it. The Astros get a walk and a hit and leave a pair. We go to the 9th inning. 7-5 Houston.
For a limited time at National Tire and Battery. Buy
We go to the top of the 9th inning as the Astros try to close it out. They bring on a new pitcher. We'll talk about him in a moment, but the Astros got a couple of long balls early. One from Carlos Correa to get it going.
And that just kept going and going and going. A towering shot. Look at Tucker. He got a pitch in the wheelhouse. You love it when he's swinging well, don't you, Ash?
Yeah, he just really intrigues me. And he caught my eye early last year when he came to the club. He can do some things.
Yeah, you're a front runner. Swinging the bat well, you're all over.
That's analysis at its finest right there. Go to work, Mr. Steve Sparks.
Brendan McCurry on the mound for the Astros, and he was in Major League spring training camp with the Astros when it started and got sent down about a week ago, but he got traded from the Oakland A's. He was in Double-A last year, got traded for Jed Lowry.
Starts it with a fastball hit in the air to left field. This should be out number 1, and it is. So a quick out here in the top of the 9th inning.
He's going to try to make quick work. Astros pitchers the last 2 innings have combined for 53 pitches. McCurry's a strike thrower, throws from all angles. Fastball, slider, and a curve from Tupelo, Oklahoma. I asked him where that was. He said it was just south of Ada.
Oh, there you go. Now we know. By the way, if you were wondering, that's Danry Vasquez defensively in left field. So he doesn't bring it from Tupelo, but that's where he's from. I see.
That's it.
Okay.
22nd rounder of the A's a couple of years ago out of Oklahoma State.
Slider finds the strike zone. 0-2 the count.
He had 27 saves in the minors last year.
Pitch is strike 3. Now Heineman has to complete the deal and gets it done. 2 outs.
You'll see some strikes. Watch Brendan McCurry. He was a second baseman all the way until his senior year in college. That's why he can throw from that low angle when he wants to. He did it from second base. Finally, Christmas break of his senior year, the coaches took all the bats out of his locker, said, "You're our closer." That's it.
Does that mean they didn't think he was much with the stick?
Well, he said he hit 400 that fall. He was a little upset, but he realizes now it worked out for the best.
Imagine if Craig Biggio, hitting along at about 400, was suddenly told, "You're done hitting. We're going to take advantage of that arm." Down to an out, and the 9-hitter at the plate hits it on the ground. 2 hops to third. Moran with the play, and that'll do it. The Astros stop a 2-game losing skid as they win their 10th on the spring, making them